Hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV and welcome to this, the 71st comments reply video. 71, getting through them quickly, aren't we? Yes, this is the video which I reply to your comments. Now, there's several reasons why I make these videos. Firstly, I don't have time to reply by text, yet I feel obliged to reply when you guys put a comment in. Excuse me. So, because you know, I get a lot of comments on a popular channel, and I feel I should reply. So, if I I'd be sitting around just typing continuously if I replied by text. So I make these videos instead. Now you may think, well, you're not replying to my videos if you post a 9-hour video and say, "Go on, mate, watch that." Your comment is in there somewhere. I'm not going to, you might think, I only want to reply to one comment. I'm not going to watch a 9-hour video for that. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to watch a 9-hour video because I put a timestamp. What I'll do is in this first hour of this recording, I will put, thanks for your comment. It will be answered approximately within the first hour of the upcoming reply to comments video. And then I'll do that for the second hour. It'll be the second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour, etc. So the longest you're going to have to watch is just 1 hour. So you just skip forward to whichever hour of that video, and you'll hear the reply to the comments. Also, second reason you don't have to watch a 9-hour video. My comments reply videos are not 9 hours. They're not 9 hours anymore. They're much shorter than that. And the reason is I do them more often. I used to do them like every 2 months or so. I now do them probably every 3 to 4 weeks. So there. Another reason I do these comments reply videos is I enjoy doing them. They're fun. And what's more, you, the viewers, you enjoy watching them. I know some of you watch them all the way through. So there you go. That's a good introduction. Now, I should point out feels like I've got another cough coming on. This is literally just after I've shaken off the last one. It feels like I've got another one. So just to bear that in mind. There's nothing I can do really. Either I stop doing videos for a month or you put up with a bit of coughing. I'll try and make it as quiet as I can. You know, and that's all I can do really. So we will go to, a lot's happened since the last comments reply video, I must say. Yeah, and the first comment I had since the last comments reply video was 2 weeks ago. Blue Wool on Truth Seekers Northeast 8 off duty. Thanks, Ben. You're welcome, Colin. It's Colin. You're welcome, Colin. Our resident alien autopsy expert. I'm glad you got your channel back. Is your channel sort of fixed now? Let's have a look. It's got no content. Okay, no worries. Now we go to, we got a thread already. Reply to comment 70. Darren Retro. First, boom. This is the last comments reply video, the first ever comment. Well done, Darren. Congratulations. Gary Robinson says, wear your first place tinfoil hat with pride, mate. Jam Noise says, well done. I think I was fifth, lol. Jam Noise. Sounds painful, sister. Well, Keith, I can't actually see Keith Smith's comment, but yeah. Gary Robinson says, tinfoil hat prize for anyone in the top 5, I reckon. Yeah, there are no losers. Yeah, does the legend reply, says Dark Quarters UK. But thank you very much, all of you guys, for that, for getting in there first. Reply to comment 70. Rick Horton. It's a timestamp. Excuse me. It's 8:30. Yeah, comments. Thumbs up. He says. What's this? Robinson says underneath, congrats, mate. You win this month's tinfoil hat prize. Wear it with pride and dignity. Yeah. And Light says to Gary, many thanks, Gary. That's right, mate. Yeah, well done. That's it too. Yeah. I trust you. I am sharing audio, so I think you should be able to hear me. Yeah, good. You should be able to heard that if you didn't complain. He's just basically saying, you get the tinfoil hat prize this month. Yeah. Hugo Roon says third. You'll get in there first one day, Hugo. You just steer off the wacky backy while I'm uploading. You'll be fine. Hugo Roon says on reply to comment 70, thoroughly enjoyed this, enjoying this vid. Will enjoy skinning up my spliffs while watching. Thanks, Ben. Look forward to the third hour. Hey, Hugo. Hope you enjoy it. Jam Noise says, hi, Hugo. Hugo says, hi, Jan. Jan, pleasure all round. Hugo Roon, hi, babe, respect. Cool, you're such a flirt, Hugo. You really are. Jam Noise says, hi, Hugo. I'm also partaking, lol. And says, hi, sweetie, big hugs. Hugo. I've got my 2 resident bloody Bob Marley impersonators here. Good grief. Enjoy, guys. I'm all in favour of it. I'm just kidding. I'm all in favour of it, guys. I really am. Go ahead. Puff away. Jamnoy72 says on reply to comment 70. Here we go. Jamnoy72. Bro, you sound sick again. What the fuck? Hope you feel better soon. Jamnoy, thanks very much. I've started coughing again now. It's annoying. I'm taking vitamin C. That's what this is, vitamin C. Neil Peel says underneath, take regular amounts of vitamin D, Ben, and vitamin B. I have no issues for 2 years. All right. Well, vitamin D, I work outdoors, of course, but during winter you get like a lack of vitamin D because we photosynthesize vitamin D in the sunlight. But yeah, right you are, Neil. Cheers. I'll bear that in mind, thanks. Jamnoy says on reply to comment 70, I'm looking forward to seeing you with Jay on Tuesday. All right. What was that, Jamnoy? I didn't see you. Was that last Tuesday? What happened? Oh, God, I can't remember. I know I went to see Anthony Peake. What happened before then? I can't remember. Was it... Oh, sorry, you'll have to remind me, Jackie. Sorry. Jamnoy72 says on reply to comment 70. Okay, they were my knickers. I should not have done that. Sorry, Ben. Oh, Jackie, you know what? I'm sorry. I've forgotten what you were talking about. I'm sorry. I wonder what it was. I mean, judging by your comment, it's not something I should have easily forgotten, but somehow I have. Gary Robinson. Gary says on reply to comment 70. All right, this should be interesting. For anything on the inside of Hollywood, he knows all about it. Hi, Ben. There's been another update regarding Indy 5. Hey, that's the new Indiana Jones movie. As you know, the first out of the movie centers around Phoebe Waller-Bridge's woke feminist character named Helena, who is said to be the main focus of the movie. Oh, God. With Indy trailing behind her whilst being put in his place by the endless stream of woke feminist sarcasm. They really can't keep their finger off the self-destruct button, can they? Rumor has it that upon returning to Disney, Bob Iger wanted the work print of Indy 5 and disliked it so much he had the film re-edited so that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's part has been cut down to a minimum. Hey, based Bob. Back in December, the composer John Williams let it slip that although he has finished the soundtrack, that he has to go back to it as they're filming a new ending, which can only mean they are removing the ending in which Indy is killed off and replaced by Phoebe. Thank fuck for that. So, I mean, this is what I gather, Gary, based on what you've said and what I've heard from other sources. Basically, the entire, half the scenes plus the entire final segment, the final act of the film is being shit canned and they're reshooting it. Has the penny finally dropped? Gary says, I've actually seen the video of John Williams admitting this, so I know it's real. Another interesting development this week has been that Phoebe Waller-Bridges has been signed up by Amazon, of course, to produce a woke Tomb Raider show, and therefore assumed that her Indiana Jones Disney show has been cancelled as a result of the fan backlash against the destruction of pop culture. Without respect, we reject. Cheers. That's excellent news, Gary. Obviously, for the 3 or 4 people who watch this new Tomb Raider, serve you right, basically. I mean, it will. It'll absolutely tank, and of course, in the end, you see, the Amazon shareholders are going to start kicking up. They're going to start saying, "Hey, look, how come we're losing money here? How come no one's watching our stuff?" Because of course they have to. If they can't make people watch it, they're going to go broke. I know a lot of people in distant circles attribute kind of magical powers to these bad guys, but they get woke and they don't go broke. Yes, they just open their fairy briefcases and they blow angel dust into the eyes of the shareholders so they don't care they're losing money. No. The bad guys, the deep state, whatever you want to call them, they are not magical. They're not omnipotent. Their power is limited and they make mistakes. And this is one of them. Good news, yeah. And David Splendid Isolation says, yeah, good to see some kickback against the insanity. Not half, mate, not half. Gary Robinson says, Ben, mate, I'm cracking up at your life advice for Charles regarding meeting women. That's a new angle for the channel. I said that Charles must be mentally ill, but I was kidding, of course. In reality, I feel concerned for the bloke. Something's not right there. Okay. Charles Scott has put a reply here. Now, Charles, I'm just going to have a quick look. What are you actually talking about here? Because if it's what I think it is, I'm not reading your comment out. All right, bloody, bloody, blah. OLM, David Jones, no, blah. No. Charles, I'm not reading that out. I'm not deleting it, right? But I'm ignoring you. I'm ignoring you now. I told you, go out, go socialize, kiss a woman on the lips, and that's what I advise you to do. Then you won't want to write these stupid posts anymore. Jam Noise says, stop giving Charles so much airtime, for fuck's sake. No, yeah. And Charles has replied here, and David Jones, no, Charles, I'm not reading it. I'm not giving Charles any airtime at all this time. He's had enough. Jam Noise 72 says this is 3240. What's this here? All right, this is let me share screen. A woman who's a relative, like your sister or your mum on the cheek at Christmas. I mean, kissing a woman who's not related to you on the lips. You've never done that, Charles. Because if you ever get a chance to do that, it'll change your life. It'll transform you. You will no longer want to post these long comments. If you ever find yourself in, yeah, I see. I know. I mean, I'm just care for the guy. I want him to be happy. I want him to. I want him to. The guy who just spends so much time obsessed with one little thing and goes on about it for almost a year afterwards. I'm afraid I can't know what to do with this guy except give him the advice that I gave him. Charles Scott has written here. Now, if you say something about, all right, if you say something about Roswell or any of the other things you used to talk about, I'll read your comment out, Charles. But if you say about the usual stuff, I'm not reading it out. Bloody, bloody, blah. No, I'm not reading that out. Hugo Rune says on reply to comment 17, I'm disappointed. You refuse to read my comment. I feel like I've been censored. This may be my last comment. Are you joking, Hugo? What are you talking about? I'm not intentionally. All right. I think he's serious. Well, I think he's serious if someone's had like 10 spliffs. Hugo, you've been toking it up you've been toking it up to your gills, haven't you? Jam Noise. Oh. Jam Noise says Ben won't be reading these comments out yet, Hugo. Hugo says I'm referring to a comment in that video. Jam Noise. Oh, I see. Maybe it got put into spam by YouTube. Was deleted by YouTube. This often happens on my channel. And if you forget to check your spam, it gets deleted after a certain amount of time. That's true, Jackie. And you know what? Before I began this comments reply video, I actually did check my spam folder. There was a couple of spam comments in there which I've liberated. There's nothing by Hugo there at all. Stephen Seeker says, I found that he doesn't read out all people's comments. He skips. Very rarely, Stephen. Only if there's certain circumstances, such as Charles just bleating on and on about the OLM, David Jones, blah, 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 emails, stuff like that. All right, he just keeps beating this dead horse over and over again. In that circumstances, I will not read out comments. All right, that's the only time. Or if people are rude and aggressive, and to a point where if they're harming another person, I will delete that comment as well as not read it out. Another thread here. Jam Noise, replying to comment 17. I remember films as a child where there were white actors painted brown. That made me feel awful as a child. I understood at a very early age that being this color on Earth would be an issue. This is 5413. What's this? Division. It's about internal demoralization. I don't know if I'm how clear on. Oh, right, yeah, this is about the racial cast, having the wrong casting for racial groups and things like this. Yeah, I think it doesn't. The blackface makeup. I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. For example, in the Carry On films, you get it occasionally. I mean, maybe it made you feel awful because you're black and I'm white, and I feel differently about it. That's. But then on the other hand, there's Lenny Henry. He did a whiteface role once, which was quite funny, if I remember. This was in the days when he was funny. So, I mean, obviously, there are things that offend me, which don't offend other people, and I avoid them. I just don't watch them. I don't. I let people who want to watch things like that. I let them watch it, but I don't watch those things. Dark Corners UK says here, I married into a black family, and seeing this kind of portrayal of people of color makes me incredibly uncomfortable. What are your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface in the film Tropic Thunder? Jr. admitted in a recent Joe Rogan interview, you would never get away with it these days. I argue you shouldn't have been able to get away with it in the early 2000s. The thing is, I mean, you could take it too far. For example, in the Carry On, I think it was Carrying Up the Jungle, as Bernard Bresslaw, and he plays Upsy Daisy, and he's dressed as he's obviously disguised as a black man, and I think that's very funny. I think that's a good laugh, that is, and I know many other people do, people, including people of all colours, who found that funny. And funny, these films used to be on TV all the time, and now they're still on there, but they have trigger warnings at the beginning. There's like a slide goes up and it says, this film was made in 1967 or whatever, and contains outdated attitudes to race and sex and gender, things like that. But I don't think there's a problem with it, to be honest. And all that fuss about Justin Trudeau wearing blackface makeup and everyone slagging him off for that. I slag him off for other reasons. I'm more concerned about other things he does. That's just my personal view. Gary Robinson says, I watched the movie the other day called Oh Lucky Man. Good film, but it also features a white guy made up as a black guy. Really cheapened the movie. Why was it ever a thing? Insane. I suppose unless you're doing it for comedic effect, you should have a black person playing that role. So in the case of Carry On, it was obvious that didn't have an all-white cast, incidentally. It had black people in it. But in Carry On Up the Jungle, Bernard Bresslaw was playing a comedic. He was dressed as a black man for comedic effect. As Lenny Henry was when he put on white, he basically put on makeup to make him look a white man. I think there's a difference between the two things. If it's not for comedic effect, then I think they should cast a black character. I said this about they should cast a black thespian to play that role. As I said about Black Panther, it would be appalling if you got white people playing like the Wakandans. It would be pathetic. It would be stupid. Jam Noise says to Dark. Oh yeah, no. Hi, bro. It's so refreshing to hear a white guy say this. I was with a white guy for over 30 years. Yeah, I agree. Why was it allowed to begin with? Well, as I said, I think I disagree with you guys, both of you, about this. But sometimes it's something I think you just have to avoid watching. I mean, I certainly do when things offend me. Jam Noise says to Gary, I know it's crazy to think of it now. As a child, it was disturbing to me, and as I felt really unwanted, unreal, unaccepted. I struggled with this a lot as a child. I think that's why I ended up with a white guy. I knew it would make life easier for me and my child here. How sad is that? Is that true, Jam Noise? I mean, if it really things like this when you're a little kid can really traumatize you. I mean, things happened to me which I look back on now and think that it wouldn't bother me if I saw it now. So, for example, I went to the London Planetarium, and I really experienced a junior existential crisis from that, which I've never forgotten the horror and fear I felt as a result of that. I really haven't. And see, things messed. Did you tell your parents how you felt? Gary says to Jam, it was bizarre because he was on screen with other actors and they were real blackfellas. So the guy in makeup looked really odd. Yeah, I mean, I would say, Gary, it is inappropriate to have a white person with black makeup on in that situation, unless it is for comedic effect. Like I said, unless it is a comedy, and it's being done for a comedy reason, and then it's wrong. For example, in the film it's a bit of a cheap and sleazy film, really, but it makes me laugh. White Chicks has Chris Tucker and another guy, black guy, and they play FBI officers who have to go undercover, and they have to dress up as white women, hence the title. And I found it very funny because White Chicks is a comedy, but if it's not a comedy, I don't think it should be done. I have to agree with you and Jackie. If it's anything other than a comedy, I think I agree with you and Jackie. Gary says to Jackie, totally understandable, Jackie. What a world we live in, eh? Just to turn it on its head. Here in North Mexico, there are white people who don't like white Europeans, if you can believe that. Properly complicated racism law. Gary, there's plenty of white people who don't like white people in everywhere. It seems there are white people. I mean, there's I've I mean, not really in my sort of circles, but among students and people like that in the middle classes, they go things like, "Oh God, I wish I wasn't white." We're all slave traders. We're all racists. I went on this racial gender feminist awareness course, and it's only now I've discovered what a racist misogynist I am. Oh, I wish I could cut this white skin right off me. They literally have said that. I've heard people say that. I wish I could cut this white skin right off me. I don't think it's complicated racism. I think it's pretty simple, but it's a very nasty thing that's done to people by wokery, by cultural Marxism. And Gary says to Jan here, I don't think you're sad, by the way, Jackie. We are all in part the product of a messed up world. You have a kid you can be proud of, so that's a positive thing, of course. Oh, nice one. Nice, well said, Gary. Gary said, Jackie says to Jamie, yeah, my beautiful daughter, I don't regret a single moment. We had some great times until it all went tits up. And says, thanks, Gary. Oh, Jackie, I hope things are, I'm sorry if things are going badly in that respect still. I mean, I know we spoke privately about that, and let me know how things are getting on. Here we go. Reply to comment 70, Gary Robinson. Did I put a tag on that? Yeah, I did. Speaking of enemies, I received a very strange email from someone claiming to be a fellow music producer who wrote to encourage me to attack Richard D. Hall for using my music. Definitely a technique of the enemy to encourage discord. Yeah, it's Gary, it's pretty typical actually in this day and age, and this has happened to me. I've had people who've actually told me they've been emailed by certain individuals telling them nasty things about this. They say, well, this person emailed me saying horrible things about you, Ben. And very often it's they've dug up some forum post I made like 18 years ago, and they've said, look what a horrible person Ben is. And these are people who will not confront me directly. They will not challenge me face to face in a public arena. Just like this person probably would never dare go up to Richard D. Hall and challenge him personally. It's, what's the word? I think it's called relational aggression. I think that's the word for it. All too common nowadays. Reply to comment 70, Dark Corners. My favourite time of the month. Oh, thanks, Dark Corners. Well, you got another one here. I try to do them, if I try not to let them go a month. I try not to let them go for a whole month these days. Crafty Nihilist. 9 hours? Are you mad? I'm not watching a 9-hour video. Oh, Crafty. You have done, bless you. Reply to comment 70. RC Christian. Right. It's the RC, letter R, letter C. Christian is the name of the person who supposedly built the Georgia Guidestones and may well have been identified. And Crafty says, is it RC as in ARSCY? No, he was quite RC, I think, but no. Nothing as it seems. I snatched your handle, Crafty Nihilist, in response to the pangolin image on Ed's Outer Lights channel. All right, nothing. I don't know anything about that. Reply comment 70. Zoella's bleeding vagina. Okay, what a name. Why is Milesy Boy Johnston so inactive at the moment? Well, he's not, Zoella. I'll just call you Zoella, actually. I'm not going to read the rest of it. He's not. If you look at his channel, he's just uploaded 2 new videos. He filmed a presentation by Sandra DeRoy, and he put up a fast blast about an upcoming conference, of which I might be speaking at. I'm not sure. I might be speaking at it. I'm not sure. I'm not on the list right now, but I've just got a little. I'm not on the list right now, but I've got a little feeling. Now, this is a really old video now. The 4th kind revisited. Oh, bloody hell, that's a really old one. This Zoella here says again, why is Rich Planet so inactive at the moment? Well, it's not actually, Zoella. In fact, literally as soon after you posted that comment, Richard uploaded a new video. So it's not inactive. It has been inactive for a while because Richard had this problem to deal with with the BBC. But he has made a response. He's striking back. Reply to comment 70, Neil Peel, The Paranormal Peep Show. There's a new video on his channel actually with me, by the way. Raza presented the nanotubes video on Apollo detectives as what is now being researched and what potential it might have for future spaceflight. I don't think he was suggesting it was Artemis 1, although they could potentially test it in future Artemis missions, I guess. All right, that's a reply to Steve Mumbling or someone saying that there was none of the... Oh, excuse me. There was none of these nanotubes being used, and it wasn't really real. Okay, here's an old video called I Like Watching Teletubbies. Yes, it's the one. I'm not going to delete it, but I try not to refer to it. Alan Hero Archive says, Jeremy Corbell's new podcast is a bag of old arse, isn't it? I've watched, how many have I seen? I've listened to 2. The first one was good. The second one wasn't that good. He's doing one with George Knapp, which is not too bad. Right, bullying. Zoella says, what's the most challenging job you've had as an odd job man? All right. Now, that's nothing compared to anything I did in hospital portering. I would say probably I had to uproot a tree once. That was quite a job. Yeah. Yeah, it's not hospital portering. It's not the most exciting thing in the world I do now, but it's low stress, and it's something maybe at my time of life I need. That sort of thing. But that's an old video called Bullying I did. Thomas Barden-Reese. Hey, Thomas. How you doing? Nice to see you again, mate. This is... So there's nothing I can do about that. Ben Emlyn-Jones live at Truth Seekers Northeast 8, part 2 of 2. Thomas says, them live streams we did together were good, weren't they? Yeah, they were, Thomas. Thomas is back, but he's got a new channel. What was his new channel? Where's his new channel? He actually responded to me a couple of weeks ago. Just one moment. I'm just going to find Thomas's new channel. Well, he says he's not back properly, but he did have a video called, where was it? It might be lost now, but it was a while ago. Thomas, of course, and I did a number of live streams with other people, including Unwashed, and I think it may have 2 days, 3. It was about a few days ago now, but the weaponized podcast I've been watching. There's one that they didn't even put on YouTube, which I haven't really watched. Because it was, how long do I have to keep scrolling for? I think it may take too long to go through these. But, yeah, Thomas is back. No, I don't think I'm going to find it. Sorry about that, guys. So, there. But Thomas does have a channel. He does have a channel, and I think it's called Keith Woods. The Keith Woods. Oh, it's got something sarcastic to do with Keith Woods, anyway. But yeah, it's good to see you back, Thomas. This is his original channel, and which doesn't have content, but yeah, we had some good things on there, didn't we? All right, right. Alan Hero Archive again. Probe 10-9 bed. That's what it's called. That's just the name of the video. Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis? No. And who described it as that? Who'd know? There's only a handful of people in the world who would know. So, no, it's not true. Reply to comment 70. Since you mentioned him, I would love to see another road trip with Colin and you. All right. Well, the moment we have the chance, we will do it, because I do actually like my dialogues, my driving dialogues with Colin too. I really do. Reply to comment 70. Gary Robinson says, Ben, mate, in regards to the conversation that you, myself, and David were having about Disney brainwashing kids, the Zoom call in which the executives state that they wish to manipulate the minds of young children with LGBTQ and queer themes was in fact made public, and it can be found on YouTube. It was leaked by someone within Disney who was concerned about what they heard. This resulted in a mass protest outside Disneyland in Los Angeles by concerned parents. Good. The answer to David's question as to what age ranges are affected by this plan is that they are putting it in films and shows for all age ranges. Oh, God. I've been subscribed to Disney Plus for a few years now, mainly for Star Wars content, but the point being that having a subscription allows me to stay up to date with the absolute rubbish they are releasing. Just to be clear, I have no problem with people from the said subcultures. No, me neither. No, me neither, Gary. Yeah, if it was turned on its head and they were making Woody from Toy Story get it on with Little Bo Peep and generally promoting hetero relationships in kids' films and TV shows, I'd be just as disgusted. I think that they shouldn't make it. Obviously, there was a bit of romance between Woody and Little Bo Peep, wasn't there, in the Toy Story, but it was never explicit. I don't think it should be explicit. Certainly not for children stuff. Romance is okay. Romance with baseline relationships, that is simple. Man-woman relationships is okay. Anything beyond that, I think, shouldn't be on TV or films for anyone under about 16 years of age. Now, I know. I mean, this is the woke is trying to justify this by saying, well, but children have to deal with this in their lives. We're helping children cope with these things in their lives. I'm well aware that children from when they're born and through their childhood sometimes live in families in which there are homosexual people and intersex people. And if that is the case, then I think these issues should be dealt with within the family. I think the damn government and the education system should keep its nose out. I mean, I sort of been in that situation myself because my brother's gay and has been. I think he's always been gay. I don't remember a time he was ever not gay, actually. And I think it wouldn't have helped, actually, if the school had descended on us and just handed us over to social workers and had them lecturing for a long, long time, saying things like, Ben, I know you're only 7 years old, Ben, but do you ever look at your mum's dresses in the cupboard and want to put them on? Things like, ugh. Sick. I mean, I'd hate people say, oh, Ben, don't you wish you were younger? No, I don't. No, I bloody well don't want to be younger. I'm happy being my age. I wouldn't even mind being a bit older, quite frankly. I'd hate to be a child or even someone like a young adult in today's world. I would just hate it. It must be agony. Someone's texting me. All right, it's just my daughter. I'll answer in a minute. Yeah, and Gary carries on. I'm at the point where I believe this cultural vandalism is being done on purpose in order to screw up the next generation. Gary, I passed that point quite a long time ago, and you're right. Absolutely, it is. Have a listen to Marilyn Hawes on Richie Allen's show as she digs deep into the subject of kids' minds being taken over by a tech-based world we live in. Cheers. Thanks, mate. I think I have not seen that one. I do watch Richie Allen. I think he's very good. I've not seen that one, but good comment there, Gary. Yeah. Dark Corners UK. On the subject of a woke Disney, or specifically Lucasfilm Disney, someone high up there in their Star Wars division is now trying to push the narrative that Anakin Skywalker, young Darth Vader, uses they/them pronouns. Oh my God. As if Star Wars already couldn't be any worse. Oh my goodness me. This is a blatant change of canon, as Anakin was clearly always a straight white male, and nobody can tell me any different. Gary, I mean, I'd love to think you're not being serious, but I suspect you are. I mean, talk about kicking this franchise while it's down. I mean, goodness me. Oh, dear. Any attempt to make Star Wars more woke right now is rather like that scene in Mutiny on the Bounty, where there's this guy being whipped. One of the sailors is being whipped, and he dies, and he's lying there dead. And Captain Bligh says, continue whipping him, but he's dead, sir. That doesn't mean he can't continue to have his punishment. Oh, dear. David Smith says underneath here, thank you for the clarification on your... Oh, this is going to be sarcastic, I think. Thanks for the clarification on your position. If that's true, we're in agreement. I wouldn't put it past any executive to think exploiting anyone in this hopes of making extra money was a good idea. That's it. Well, of course, the thing is they're not going to make money off this, David. They're going to lose money because these productions are very expensive. They're high budget, and they're just not getting the bums on seats to watch them. They're not getting the bums on seats. If they release them on the big screen and no one goes and sits in the cinema and watches them, pays to sit and watch them, they don't make money. If they put them on a streaming service and no one watches it, the advertisers will pull out. And they won't pay anymore. And the thing is that they'll have deserved it. They will 100% have deserved it. It'll be their own stupid fault. Completely their own stupid fault. Gary says here, on reply to comment 70. Hey, Ben, a few weeks ago, Doomcock, a.k.a. Doomcock, is that his name? Doomcock. A few weeks ago, Doomcock, a.k.a. Overlord DVD, released a video detailing his concern about a left-wing organization in the USA that was hoping to get public funding to develop and deploy a woke censorship safety net that will work across the internet in the USA. Oh, not another one. Gary, they've already got one. The SPLC and the ADL have been sort of like playing that role for quite a while now. Oh, God. This anymore would be even worse. The software behind this scheme is said to be able to monitor all emails and social media, WordPress blogs and websites, etc., with the purpose of checking text for wrong think and wrong speak. It will then rewrite everything based on whatever nonsense the left wants to replace it with. Oh my goodness me. So it won't delete something, it'll simply edit it for you. Oh God, it'll edit it for you. Oh my God. Apparently it's also looking for microaggressions within people's communication and posts, etc. Oh my God. The point being that this thing goes live, it won't be possible to communicate over the internet in the USA in any way, shape or form without being subject to the judgment of this software. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Oh my God, yes, let's hope. I mean, there's ways of seeing as it will be an automated system. People will probably find a way of outwitting it. There are loopholes with these things. Certain, for example, dark websites and code words and things like this. Even simply misspelling a word can be enough to confuse the algorithms. Gary says, yeah, P.S. And David is right when he says that David is right? Is that David Smith? When he says that including a romantic relationship in these films and TV shows is not a big deal and not a problem. But that's very far from what Disney are doing. Absolutely no. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, there's romance in all children. A lot of children's stuff has romance in. Fairy tales full of princes and princesses, aren't they? But they're all simple baseline relationships. One adult man, one adult woman. It's the most fundamental kind of a sexual relationship there is, and it's not an explicit sexual relationship. It's just simply love and romance. I mean, I had this even when I was like, I mean, it's something I had an awareness of when I was preschool. I mean, not that I didn't even understand sex. I didn't know what sex was, but I remember I think I said at one point I wanted to marry Uhura from Star Trek or Isla Sinclair or someone like that when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I said I want to marry her or something like that. And it's just a very, very basic nascent kind of sexuality coming out of me. And that's normal, and it's not something that parents need to worry about. But it's when that thing is Disney and people like that are taking that natural instinct within children, and they are exaggerating it and warping it for their own purposes. And it is filth. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It is something that people who do that should go to jail. It's despicable. Oh. If you do that on social media, if an individual does that on social media, the paedophile hunters will catch you. They'll come around your house and knock on your door. They'll ambush you in the street and call the police and things like that. Disney do it and they say, oh, that's fine. This is good progressive education for children. No, they should be in jail with the people who are caught by the pedo hunters. Reply to comment 70, Gary Robinson. In regards to Spielberg's UFO in the interest in the late 70s, I didn't know that, mate. So interesting. Yeah, he had that interest and it went away. Yeah. I've always been a hardcore Lucas and Spielberg fan, and one thing I have noticed, especially with the recent torrent of pop culture documentaries, is that all of the key players, including George Lucas, have started contradicting themselves in regards to the history of their movies. All right. You mean so? You see, because I mean, this I've got the DVD which has Spielberg being interviewed I think in the late 90s for the 20th anniversary. Is he saying something different now? Because I can show you the DVD if you want. I mean, I can send it. I can rip it and send it to you. He says plainly, I had an interest in UFOs back then. I was fascinated by them. This is something that's worn off, and I could not make Close Encounters today because my beliefs have changed so much. And indeed, watching War of the Worlds, I can well believe it. Gary carries on. I got to see a re-release of Close Encounters on the huge screen in San Antonio, Texas, around 7 or 8 years ago. It looked amazing. It was a great night. Cheers. Oh man, I'd love to see that. David Smith says on these, Close Encounters is one I'd love to watch on the big screen. Bit woke though, especially at the end. Well, David, it's not woke. It's not woke. I thought it was a bit. Oh, I thought bits of it were a bit silly at the end. Actually, it was probably slightly over. It was slightly overly sentimental. It had some like humor to break that up, but some bits of it were a bit. It was a bit too. It was a bit ungrounded. The ending. As much as I love it, I look back at it now and think it's a bit ungrounded. But yes, I'd love to watch Close Encounters on the big screen. I would. I mean, there are some films you just have to watch on the big screen. I mean, this whole it's like I agree with Alan Parker when he said, a cinema was a place where you can literally enter another world. You can't have that condensed to a small box in the corner of your room. You can't. I mean, he's a film director, Alan Parker. It just strips you of that experience, and he says he does this very moving speech about cinemas. He says cinemas was a place where you come and dream. Don't you want to dream anymore? And I agree with him. I agree with him totally. And you know what? I've never seen Close Encounters on the big screen. Never seen it. I've only ever seen it on TV or DVD. And I know you have to watch some films on the big screen because I went to see Arrival on the big screen when it first came out. I went to see Arrival at this lovely sort of retro 1930s picture house thing. Hang on a sec. Just going to reply to my daughter here. I'll just say, okay. Just 1 sec, ladies and gents. I won't bother to edit this out. Okay, right. Now, yeah, there's this. I don't know if you've seen Arrival. It's the best alien invasion film ever made. But in the beginning of the film, there's this scene where they're actually the main character. You first see the spaceship, and it's from a helicopter, and the main character, Louise, is looking out the window, and you see the spaceship, and there's fog on the ground, and then you can see it, and the helicopter comes down. It's an amazing shot. I mean, how they got it, I don't know. How they bloody got it, it's incredible. How they did it, I mean, I don't know how they bloody did it. I mean, how they designed that shot, it's incredible. Especially seeing as it has an animated model in the middle of it. But I've watched that many times on and I've tried to go like that to try and to make it just clear out the outside and just go like that and lean in, so I'm sort of immersed in the screen, and you just do not get that same effect. You don't get that sense of solidity of being there that you do when you see it on a massive cinema screen. So if you ever get the chance to watch Arrival, not to be confused with The Arrival, that's a Charlie Sheen movie, also about alien invasion, not as good. If you ever get the chance to see Arrival, it's a Dennis Villeneuve film in the cinema. Please do go and see it. Gary Robbins, I'd like to see Close Encounters on the big screen too. If it's ever on there, let me know. I'll look to see if it may be on at some local art house or something. Reply comment 70, Gary Robinson. So the lights were low left a comment about whether the supposed testimony of a US serviceman was real or a hoax written by someone from the UK. Yeah, that's the thing on Project Camelot, wasn't it? In my opinion, no, it wasn't. What was it? I've forgotten now. Sorry. If someone from the US is more likely to use the word truck as opposed to saying vehicle. Yeah, they use the word truck very often, as we in Britain would say lorry, meaning a large, heavy goods vehicle. Yeah. The term cordoned off. Yeah, we tend to use the term truck for a smaller goods vehicle, or I think Americans use the word pickup truck. We tend to just say truck. The term cordoned off is also unlikely to be used by someone from the USA, as they tend to go for words with fewer syllables. Sorry, as you would never hear someone from the USA say that word in my experience. They would most likely say shut off. Sometimes shut off, yeah. Sometimes I find it hard to follow people from the US as they abbreviate everything. Obviously, what I'm saying can't apply to everyone in the USA, of course. That would be a really bad generalization. Cheers. Yeah, you see, as I expect, I think Max Q is not American, based on what he stroke she, based on the style of his or her language. I think he or she is being economical with the truth there. Hmm. TK replying to comment 17. You speak of hunchbacks and say, quote, the Apollo detectives know a lot about this sort of thing and are knowledgeable in this sort of thing, and they explain that he's a good researcher, unquote. Firstly, isn't this a claim from authority saying, well, they are experts in this and that's good, is a claim from authority which I thought you weren't down with? Quite. Maybe we're just doing it. Maybe. Okay. Oh, no, let's carry on with TK. Secondly, and most unfortunately, the Apollo detectives are not referenced by anyone but themselves. So why bother using them as a reference for anything? Or as Dick Emery might say, Dad, I think I got it wrong again. All right. That was what he was to say. Dad, let's go. We're going to go nick an elephant. He was funny, he was. I suppose you see the thing is skeptics do the same. I think we're descending into an infinite spiral loop of whataboutery here, TK. Because skeptics do exactly the same thing. Skeptics say, yes, but Neil deGrasse Tyson is this. Oh, and Buzz Aldrin is that. And you're insulting them by disagreeing with them. So either I think we're going to admit something. Maybe we have to confess. Maybe this is kind of a wartime situation here, And I think scolding each other over our hypocrisy is a peacetime luxury. I've been thinking that more and more in the last few months, actually, about all kinds of things. Either that, or we do descend into an infinite. We just into an infinite loop of tit for tat. You may be right, you may be right, but I don't have a rebuttal except to say, well, skeptics do the same thing. So that's it. I think maybe if you fight too fair, you end up losing. That's the problem. A reply to comment 70 TK. Civilian ufologists say, we're the people who gather it. We're the people who do the hacking at the coalface, unquote. Right. Do you, Ben? Which UFO evidence have you uncovered? Which ghosts have you uncovered? Have you revealed? What proof of anything paranormal have you shown? I ask because I'm a giant fighter. Us giant fighters fight giants all day long. I actually haven't fought a giant. I just talk about it, but us giant fighters fight giants all day long. TK, I wasn't speaking about when I said we. I was using it. Let's see, it's a pity. English, some languages have this distinction when it comes to the pronouns. When I say we, do you mean me and someone else, or do we mean me as part of a group and not everyone applies to it? I think some of the languages of India have that kind of difference in pronouns. I wasn't referring just to, see, I have done very little field research. And I I admit that. I'm more of a commentator analyst than a field researcher. But I have supported people in field research, people like Don Phillips, people like Gary Jones. I have assisted them. And I take an interest in what they do. So maybe you are a giant fighter because you help the people who go out there and fight the giants. David Smith says underneath, giants are surprisingly sneaky. I wish they would just reveal themselves properly so we can have disclosure. Thank you for doing your part in giant investigations. Well, David, giants actually don't exist. Well, the thing is, they might exist in some parts of the world. So, for example, it's possible in the Solomon Islands there are giants, but they don't exist in most of the parts of the world now. They found dead bodies. For example, they found skeletons of people 10 feet tall in Iraq. They found a whole load of them. They found about 8 of these skeletons, and they have like clothing, eating utensils, tools to match. So I don't think anyone's covering up the existence of giants, though. It's the thing. So I think, besides, I think TK is joking, David. I mean, I don't think TK really goes out hunting giants. TK says to David, sorry, I was readying myself for all the giants. Now, where are they again? Come on, the sneaky buggers. I think, TK, you are joking a bit, aren't you? David says, there will be disclosure of giants any day now. The media can only cover it up for so long. Oh, my goodness me. I can't believe I didn't detect your sarcasm, David. You were being sarcastic, weren't you, about the giants? Oh, very funny, very funny. The thing about it is, though, it may come out there are giants in the world. There's that Marius Boyajian book, not Marius Boyarin, I think his name is. He wrote that book about the Solomon Islands, where there's entire communities of people like 9 feet tall. It's huge. It's really amazing. New Tesco, it's an old film, and Zoella says, have you ever investigated the Owl Man of Mormon? Well, I've heard of it, and I've read the Owl Man and Others by Jonathan Downes, which I very much recommend. Yeah, the Owl Man. It's a strange creature that was seen by several people actually near an old church in southern Cornwall, and there was like a number of different families saw it, and very strange thing. Yes, the Owl Man. So cool because it looked like a half owl, half human. Similar to the Mothman, really. But St. Mornin's Church it's near Falmouth. So yes, I have. Royal Wedding Part 1. Will we see a shapeshift? Alan Hero Archive says, I think I remember you popping up on telly back in the 90s talking about aliens and that. What sort of shows were they? Are the clips online? Not me, Alan. I was never on telly in the 90s. I, in fact, never appeared. My first appearance in the media was actually in 2007 when I was interviewed by Darren, what's his name? Don Daz from the David Icke Forum. Darren somebody. That is on my channel, actually. Hugo Roon says in reply to comment 70. Yes, Ben, I have seen my GP about my problem. I had a seizure in my brain some time ago. Oh, God. Well, I'm sorry, Hugo. I hope you feel better soon, mate. Yeah. Hugo says on reply to comment 70, Rastafari, haha, nice one. Come and visit. Yeah, mate. I mean, you get on very well with them. You should sign up. They have the same attitude to the golden herb as you do, and they smoke even more of it if that's possible. But that's how they go into a state of consciousness that brings them close to the being they call Jah, who's God. I covered that, I think, in my apocalypse talk at True Seekers Northeast. Big Bobby Dazzler says in reply to comment 70. Now, Bobby Dazzler actually is a term from Yorkshire. I've only just found that out. It's interesting that. Yeah. Ben says, so Big Bobby Dazzler says, Ben, enjoy your content, but when was the last time you watched the content Mr. Parks puts out? It's clearly bull. Right, I haven't watched him for a while, actually. It's a couple of months ago I watched Simon's. I haven't actually opened Telegram for about 3 months. I follow him on Telegram, but anyway, I understand you have been personally hurt by being attacked by people in the past, but it does look like you see Mr. Parks and people like Miles as being some sort of allies in the so-called truth movement who have suffered the same negative comments and accusations. Well, I see them that way, Big Bobby Dazzler, because they are. I mean, they have received those negative comments and accusations. Are they allies? Yeah. I mean, Miles is a good personal friend of mine, and yeah, I regard them. I mean, whatever. I mean, you say it's bull. I mean, I don't think what Simon Parks talks is all bull. Some of it I think is a bit dodgy, and I certainly don't believe everything I hear from him. But I don't accept that it's something we should just dismiss. I think he talks a lot of sense as well. Do bear in mind his background. I mean, I've known him a long time. He's things like that, things he said in the past. I think, yeah. So I think they are allies. And they are. Miles is a personal. I don't know Simon that well. Miles I know very well, and they have suffered negative comments and accusations. Neither have ever faced any kind of tribunal, despite my advice that this should be done. They've just been attacked by a lynch mob, basically, and it's manufactured outrage. As I've said this more on HPANWO Voice actually than HPANWO TV, but I've written articles about this. Anyway, Bobby Dazzler continues. Please watch what he is putting out. And to be totally honest, if you believe what he is saying is true, But hang on a sec. But I haven't even watched him for about 2 months, so I don't know what he's saying at the moment. Okay. You are clearly an intelligent man, but I do think personal matters are clouding your views on him. But yeah, I don't actually have a personal relationship with Simon, really. I've just spoken to him. I haven't spoken to him for quite a long time. I'm not a troll. I do enjoy lots of your work, but I'm annoyed. You stick up for this man. He talks utter tripe, and his collaborations with Ward and the like clearly show this. Okay, well, Bobby, I can't help it if you feel annoyed by what I do. When you say stick up for him, yeah, well, I take it you've read my article, Simon Parkes is innocent, have you? Have you read that? If you have not read that, could you please read it? Could you? I think you need to. Let me just show it to you. Seriously, I think you need to read this. Okay, it's only like a 10-minute read or less, and read the background one about Linda Moulton Howe as well. Okay, and if you read that and think I've got it wrong, let me know how I've got it wrong. Please do let me know where I'm gone wrong, and also please let me know why you don't think why decisions and condemnations like this, denouncements, should be made on the word of it's essentially a lynch mob. Why should we condemn someone because Stephen Cambion laughs at them or something? Why should we condemn someone because someone who has a track record for attacking everyone suddenly makes an accusation against him and brings on some sniveling Me Too heroine to back her up? Can't we be more adult about this and more civilized and have some kind of due process? But Bobby, please read that article. You can find it on HPANWO Voice. Okay, HPANWO-voice.blogspot.com. If I'm wrong, let me know how I'm wrong. Thank you. Orgonite Headband, an old video here. Alan Hero Archive says, why are boss-eyed girls sexy? Is boss-eyed like cross-eyed like that? I think it's I don't know, I think it's because it looks like they're looking at you closely, which is a very sort of like they're giving you kind of like a very intimate look, which can be arousing, I suppose. I mean, I don't really. I mean, there's plenty of girls who are not boss side who are sexy too, you know. And here's Jamno70. Do you want to reply to comment 70? Thanks for your replies, bro. Please check out Dave's video, Jesus Exposed. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to, Dave. Allegedly, Dave. I will do Jam Noise. I mean, I've not heard from Dave for ages. It's seeing him again is like old CMR nostalgia, and I loved seeing him again, and I will do. I'll let you know how I think. But yeah. Barry T says, I hope Dave never took the piss out of Ben. Barry, if he didn't really. I mean, I've certainly when I knew him on CMR, he didn't. He was always very nice. I mean, he did. You see, he and Santos Bonacci went off, and both of them became flat earthers, and they both said quite scathing things about what do they call us, roundheads, globalists. Not me personally, but you know, obviously I would be included in that because I am a roundhead. So I'm a globalist, so I would be included in that. But you know, I mean, I wouldn't be offended by that. I mean, there's things that, as I said earlier on, there are things I find offensive. I try I try not to look at them. People, I mean, I'm a big ugly ex-hospital porter. If someone takes the piss out of me, it doesn't bother. I'll take the piss back. I would be interested to have a debate with him. I've debated other people on the flat Earth issue. Yeah. And reply to comment 70. Hudek1 says, all the conspiracy theories out about a balloon. It's just a UFO. That's quite funny, Hudek, because it's kind of like you're illustrating here a kind of. Oh, that's the end of an hour. You're illustrating like the kind of like it's the burden of proof kind of thing, you know. It's like what's the word? It's the onus is on the people who believe it's a UFO to prove it's not a balloon. Oh, really? Well, there's a saucer-shaped thing landing on the White House lawn, and I have to prove to you that's not a balloon. Do you see what I mean? It's if you watch my skeptic talk, I go into that in more detail. Anyway, guys, back in an hour. Or for you, it'll be the next moment. Okay, guys and gals, I'm back. I'm back for hour number 2. Yeah. So where do we get to? Right. Yeah. Right. Just get the tag, the right tag. It's the second hour now. And well, I know there's going to be probably a lot of alt tech comments because I have an alt tech exclusive this cycle. All right, David Splendid Isolation says reply to comments 51, part 1 of 2. All right, it's an old one, blimey.
Oh, someone posted on Twitter. They posted a picture of Kelly LeBrock and Tom Cruise in that film called Top Gun, and they posted a.
Where's Kelly McGillis? Oh, he just says here Kelly McGillis. Oh, is it right? I thought it was Kelly LeBrock. Kelly McGuinness. Kelly McGillis. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I've not seen that film for ages. Well, I hope you enjoy these old comments reply videos, David. David Splendid Isolation is watching. Reply to comments 51. Part 1 of 2. Oh, good on you, mate. I hope you enjoy them. Mrs. Belchiel, this is an old comedy one. I did. This is a parody of Mrs. Burpee. I don't even know if she's still going. Alan Hero Archive. Why can't remote viewers see what happened to Madeleine McCann or Nicola Bulley? And I put in a text reply, actually. A few claim Maddie's buried under Robert Murat's drive. As for Nicola Bulley, not heard yet. Well, you see, the thing about Nicola Bulley is that the whole thing got turned into a massive soap opera, which is really annoying. And now they found a body, which is probably her. And I haven't been following this, to be honest. Because the UFO thing broke out. Oh, it's a distraction, Ben. It was meant to distract you. So people wouldn't think about Nicola Bulley. All right. I think it's very sad what happened to her. It may well have been an accident. She may have just slipped into the water. Yeah, she may have just slipped into the water. The river was much higher and faster moving back then. She may have just, because the dog was there. The dog was left there with his lead on, looking very confused and upset. So probably the dog. Well, the dog obviously knows what happened and can't talk, though, unfortunately. Right, this is Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world. I think this is one of my most popular videos. Alan Hero Archive says, do you think this deserves to be your most viewed video? And I say underneath, I'm not sure. I'm proud of it. I'm actually, it has its flaws. I think my camera style has a lot to be desired. But I am proud of what I did, and I've done a studio version to back it up as well, which including the scene from inside the temple, the what's it called, the temple that was in the room above the shop. So yeah, the spiritual temple. And I say, not sure. I'm proud of it. Keith Smith says yes, as it's Ben's one and only video based on factual evidence. Very funny, Keith. It is not actually the only one based on factual evidence. I try to base them all on factual evidence as much as I can. And I think I succeed in most cases, if not all. Reply to comment 70. Oh, this is, okay. Let's just, so I just got to, I've got, I'll just put a little thumbs up there for somebody. Actually, I'm having a text conversation with my daughter while I'm shooting this video. I'm not sure I can be bothered to edit that out, to be honest. So there you go. David Smith said on reply to comment 70, I would find a wife, but the missus wouldn't be best pleased. Where's your wife then, Ben? I'd find a wife, but the missus wouldn't be best pleased. You mean you'd find another wife, a second wife, and your missus wouldn't be best pleased? I imagine she wouldn't, David. Could you blame her? Where's my wife? I don't have a wife. I used to have a girlfriend, of course, Sue Stain, not anymore. TK says, I love that. You won't leave the photoshopped thing above. What's that? Sorry. TK says in reply to David, I love that you won't leave the photoshopped thing alone. And how Ben gets all minstrel when trying to deal with it. Keep up the fantastic work. I don't understand that, TK. I don't know what you're talking about. David Smith says to TK, I think you're confusing me with Charles. oh yeah. Yes, of course. The Photoshop thing, yeah. And then Yeah, that is another funny one. Didn't Ben quote him in a magazine he writes for something? Good example of how on the level a lot of these viewers are. Yes, I did, David. I did. Unfortunately, he doesn't talk about that anymore. He's just obsessed with a single subject I'm tired of discussing. So there you go. But he did, yeah, he did. Right. David Smith says on reply to comment 70. I'm not always sarcastic. I know not always. This is why I thought when you were talking about hunting giants, you were serious, David. I do make the odd serious comment. I just don't hold out much hope of you accepting reality or rationality in some of your beliefs. All right. Well, I think I do. You see, I'm trying to debate with you what is rational and real. I'm trying to do that. The way you keep goading on, the way you keep goading on about some of your viewers, insulting them by tutting at my retorts before opening the floor to more insults, is also why I lose faith in here. Oh, for God's sake, David, you give as good as you get. Come on. You're not some quivering wallflower. If I thought you were a more sensitive type of person and someone was laying into you, I'd put a stop to it, but they don't. Come on, you bite. The moment I see you biting back, right, I think, come on, we're all men here. If you can bite back, let's act like gentlemen and let's just, and I'll let you duke it out, which you seem to be quite happy to do. He carries on, and to think it all started when I merely asked for evidence and finished with a, well, I can't find the evidence, so maybe I was wrong, after being insulted. What a great example to the level of discourse it sets, eh? All right, I don't remember that specific incident, David. I mean, I really wouldn't want to. If I can't find it, it sounds like, well, I sounds like I was admitting I was wrong about something, which isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you're looking for from a woo-woo to prove us wrong to the point where we'll admit we're wrong after being insulted? I mean, did I insult you before then? I don't remember. I don't generally insult people. I don't. It's not something I like to do, but if I did and and it's uncalled for, I'll apologise. What you could be, I was just giving you as good as you get. David Smith says in reply to comment 70, separate comment here. He's left a series of them. Any experience on drugs or otherwise doesn't mean it's reality. Correct, even when you're on channel normal right now. I'd say on drugs, it's especially unreliable, and there is no good evidence to support any beings or other dimensions being made accessible when on any drug. Well, I suggest you check out the DMT, the spirit molecule by Dr. Rick Strassman, because if you say there's no evidence, right, you have to explain why every single human brain will produce certain images under certain states of consciousness. That in itself takes fantastic explanation. And there's only one alternative to that, David, and that is that what people are perceiving as objectively real. I personally think the latter is more likely. He carries on. I'm not anti-drug. If people need them, then they should be made available. Mushrooms, etc., have shown positive results in studies, good evidence. Yeah, I'm glad you're looking into that sort of thing, David, because it is. I mean, I went to, as you know, I think I may have done either an article or video about my thing I went to, that lecture by this guy talking about psychedelics. David says on the same video, I'd love to hear the Disney quote about wanting to brainwash kids more than they do already. Well, according to Gary, it's the call is available. It was leaked more so than they do already. On the one hand, kids, depending on age, can have feelings that negatively impact them due to gender issues. If some media normalizes this, which helps, it becomes more acceptable for those kids to speak out and ask for help. Then I say that's a good thing. David, I don't agree. I think if people are having if some people under a certain age are having gender issues, that is gender identity issues, then putting it putting it out in the media doesn't actually help. I think putting it out in the media, normalizing it I think it creates so many false negatives that it actually does more harm than good. And we of course, there's plenty of examples of those, aren't there? There's no shortage of examples of people, people who are given the choice gender reassignment at far too young an age, and now they're adults and they regret it and they wish they hadn't. So they feel they've been exploited. I think a child who feels that way really needs to discuss it with the family. Now, I know this is tricky because some families are not accepting and things like that. In those circumstances, I'd say, yeah, a child like that needs some kind of counselling, some kind of help. But the idea is, therefore, well, in that case, we're going to hand over their entire education, their entire sexual education to the state, is completely and utterly is incredibly destructive. I think and it's very sinister. So no, I don't agree with you there. Melvin Sherman says on white people, a reply to Christy Winters. Oh, I love this video. This is such a cool video. I love this video. Melvin Sherman says, and some of the stuff that is anti-Christy Winter stuff. I agree. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like her. I don't trust her. She can smile and be nice, but she can be really bitchy with people as well. And I think she's too intelligent to not to realize that some of the things she talks about are false, and that it's some kind of psychological agenda attached to it. I mean, I never heard something Ben Shapiro or Dave Rubin. No, actually, I remember Dave did criticize Proud Family for being woke, talk about slavery. But I never these people saying something of, yes, slavery is great. No, they know. I've never heard anyone saying, what do we want slavery? When do we want it now? Never. Or way, hey, whoa, ho, civil rights has got to go. This is how left-wing radicals portray people who resist their agenda. Well, because they polarize you. If you don't want a world where white people are enslaved, it means you want to enslave black people, things like that. Christie is doing an awful lot to, unfortunately, to stir up, to inflame that situation. Jordan Peterson, Melvin says, Jordan Peterson is saying, oh, yes, we need slavery. Or what the fuck? Does he? Does he say we need slavery? That doesn't sound like Jordan to me. Right, Charles Scott. Oh, God, what's this? Okay. Now you're... No, I'm not reading that. Bloody blah. No, I'm not reading that. No, I'm not reading any of that. Okay. Sorry, Charles. Please, could you... I'm not going to delete your comment or anything like that, but please, could you go back to talking about Roswell or something? Charles Scott, again, on reply to comment 70. I suspect you are skipping my comments. Yes, I am. It's because I'm just sick to death of this. I'm sick to death of going on about this. After nearly a year now, you are still going on about, you're still bleating on about OLM, photoshopping, Chris Evers stuff. So no. It ends now, Charles. You presented me an unfalsifiable hypothesis. I'm not going to reply to you. I still think you need a social life, especially with women, which you seem to lack. I would say, but based on your behaviour, you sound like a man who's not had a lot of contact with women and not really had much of romantic relationships with them. I suggest you go out and try to build one of those. Charles Scott again on the same video. Ben's line defamation, bloody blah, ridiculous claim. Oh God! Sorry, guys, and Charles, I'm not reading that. I'm tired of it. I want an end to it. Oh, we have Rachel's Eyes book review, an old video now. But it's a great book, and I enjoyed reading it. Jim Chambers says 95+% human. I think Rachel was not. I think Rachel was possibly human hybrid, but not 95% human. No, based on her appearance, things like that. Right, Ben Emlyn-Jones live at Truth Seekers Northeast 8, part 2 of 2. Melvin Sherman says here. There is something. All right, here's a link to a YouTube video. What's this?
Electric cherry is a floral.
Hang on, we've got an ad here. Oh, this isn't too right.
Hello.
Okay, 1985 by Anthony Burgess. What's this? Let's show you this quickly. What's this? It's a quite long.
I wonder how many of you have read a book by Anthony Burgess called 1985.
I haven't.
How many of you have actually even heard of it?
I haven't.
I doubt very much that many of you have, but for those who have, congratulations.
Oh, maybe I'll you see. I will. I think Burgess. I think obviously, A Clockwork Orange was I think was good. Good sort of like you Orwellian satire. But then anyway, Melvin carries on. And by the way, I don't fanboy away, but 3 Anthony Burgess book is sort of relevant to our society. With 1985 is all Islam and also immigration problem. All right. Honey for the Bears is sort of autobiographical about his vacation in Russia in post-Stalin USSR. Was some 1984 or North Korea, but more Vietnam in that, yes, there worst human rights and censorship, but I'm pretty sure I'd be more safe than North Korea. Probably. But in Vietnam today, you'd be absolutely fine. I mean, technically it's still the Communist Party still in charge, but I mean, it's like China. It's just turned into a big holiday camp. In the got KGB secret police stuff. Oh, the KGB, yeah. I remember Burgess found the Soviet Union to be kind of like England. In a way, like Silyagi reminded him a lot of Teddy Boys that he hated. All right, Silyagi, is that some kind of Russian craze or something from the Soviet era? Brackets. For the records, Teddy Boys is some kind of UK greaser or something like that. Not actually rockers, more UK greaser than Teddy Boys. All right, Teddy Boys this was a fashion craze among youths in the 1950s, shortly before the rocker mod era of the late 50s. Teddy Boys tended to wear kind of like bright pastel-colored jackets and have big hairstyles which tended to like pile up hair at the front like that. Very much like the Elvis Presley cuts. They were known as Teddy Boys. He carries on, but also I think Alex and his Droogs was based on them. Oh yeah, that's from Clockwork Orange. Well, look, Alex and his Droogs, they wear these white suits with like nappies on and a bowler hat and eye makeup. They look weird. Yeah. Obviously, it's meant to be surreal. Kubrick and McDowell make them more timeless, and the Waiting Seed is sort of about gay people. I don't remember. All right, well, maybe I should read more Burgess then. Yeah. Maybe I should. Points taken, Melvin. Thanks for letting me know about that. Right. This is an old one. Ben Emlyn-Jones on Energy Politics and UFOs, Part 1 of 2. All right, this is an old one I did from years ago. This is one of the first videos I did on this subject. Zoella says, Zoella is also going through all my old videos. I hope you enjoy them, Zoella. Quote, electricity comes from power stations and goes down wires into light bulbs, unquote. Are you lecturing nursery children? No, Zoella, I'm just stating an obvious thing so that people understand the entire point I'm making. Sometimes you have to repeat the obvious to put it into the context of a more radical principle. That's why I do that. If you don't like my style, then go and watch someone who talks. Go and watch Neil deGrasse Tyson or someone. Another old video, Pat Condell is not an atheist, by Zoella. Zoella says here, when you contemplate the evils of women, do you think of Sewer Stain? Firstly, contemplating the evils of women? You make me sound like some kind of misogynist. I understand women are capable of evil, and I do mention the way in which women can be evil. I know, according to feminists, that does make me a misogynist. I don't care if they think that. As for Sue Stain, you spell her name wrongly. It's Sue, S-U-E, and Stain, U-S-T-A-N-E. Do I think of her? No, Sue was not an evil woman. Sue was. I would never have been in love with her for 8 years if she was an evil woman. I think she was capable of enormous stupidity and immaturity, which I won't go into details, but basically that's what caused us to split up. I think she's impulsive, and that's the problem. I don't want to go into details about what happened to us. It's just as I said in my MGTOW video. Some people watching this know her. I mean, I blocked her when we split up. I immediately blocked her, but I know some people watching this video who are still friends with her. she doesn't have the kind of platform where she can tell her side of the story the way I can. So it would be unfair to her for me to slag her off. And, it's not like she's an enemy or something. She was someone I loved very much. And I wish we were still together. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do a big kind of like a relationship post-mortem for my viewers. All right. Right, here we go. Now, Charles Scott says, comment delete. What do you mean? I haven't deleted any of your comments, Charles, if that's what you're thinking. David Smith says, never mind, Charles. Did you kiss anyone? All right. Charles Scott puts a long comment here, which I'm not going to read. But it ends with Ben speaks falsely. David Smith, I'm not going to I'm not going to read out this thread. All right. It's just David Smith and Charles have a bit of banter. David Smith says on reply to comment 70, Ben, I've heard convincing reports that the earthquakes were actually all fake, just a bunch of crisis actors and fake footage, just more disinfo to push immigrants into the UK. David, I find that very unlikely, and perhaps you could. I think you're possibly being sarcastic, but I'm going to answer you seriously. I have no evidence that is the case, none at all. It doesn't look like there's no fakes that have been uncovered, and also, it's hardly necessary to increase immigration into the UK. I mean, would kind of be superfluous to needs, wouldn't it? Also, it doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit anyone in any other way to fake this kind of disaster. Right, A Streetcar Named Stargate, Part 1 of 2. The Crafty Nihilist. Hello. All right, 31:49 is a timestamp here. And so hopefully there won't be lots of ghosts in it. Sometimes ghosts appear in new buildings. Keith Linder's house was brand new. It's just literally been finished a few years ago, and ghosts started appearing in it. Anyway, we're going to have a look around here. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get in. There's old Taj. There's Taj. This is when we were trying to find the venue on the Friday night. We can't get in because isn't it? Is that it? Oh, I quite enjoyed that video. I quite enjoyed it. So Crafty says, I always imagine you wearing a pink shirt and red high heels at this junction. Oh, you mean I'm soliciting offers, am I? Oh, here we go. 9/11 Truth Poem, another old video. Zoella says, what kind of shoes do you wear? I wear work boots when I'm at work, which are like heavy-duty gardening boots, which are quite good for long-distance walking as well, which I need, which I do. When I'm not, I wear casual shoes, such as running shoes or just slip-on black shoes. Reply to comment 70, Max Q says, here we go. Super Heavy successfully conducts a 33 engine static fire test after a full wet dress rehearsal. There might be one more full wet dress rehearsal, one more full static fire, and then a launch, or I think it says lunch attempt. I think you mean launch attempt, Max. Oh, how NASA must be so envious. All right, is this right? This is Musk's thing, isn't it? Let me just go to. I'll just go to share screen in a moment. Oh, we have oops. Hold on, just go to. How is it? Oh, is this it? Oh, whoa! Is this the one? Is this the one? I better just. Is this the one, Max? I think. Let's check I've got the right. I think I've got the wrong video. One sec. No, I haven't. No, I've got the right video. Let me just go back to share screen. Why should NASA be envious? This is by NASA. Oh, I'd like to see. I bet they had a few spectators for that. Oh. Nice one. Click a like on that. I think you're just seeing the same thing from different angles. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Max Q. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean by NASA being envious, though. Because you do say here, "Oh, how NASA must be so envious." Wink. I don't get you there, Max, because it's a NASA rocket, so I don't get you. Big Stones Part 2 of 15, hotel room. Yeah. Bronto Max says, "Do you know who I miss? Ian Lee." Oh, I don't know him, Bronto. Did he go to Megalithomania? I got a feeling Max Q is making some kind of sarcastic comment to do with launch with the I don't know, with the Dragon spacecraft, the Artemis thing. I don't know. Just thinking about Max Q's comment there. All right. Gary Robinson says, right, this is Anthony Peake book launch. Gary Robinson says, hello, Ben, mate. Hope you're good. Watching now. Yay. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it, Gary. Tim Simpson says on Anthony Peake, very interesting thoughts. Gets my brain working. Thank you. You're very welcome, Tim. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a good day. It was a very, very good day. And Gary here says on Anthony Peake book launch, good call on having your passport with you, mate. Well, yeah, I mean, I found out I would need it before I went, but it's annoying. After being in Mexico and the USA for so many years, I've got used to carrying my passport and driving license wherever I go. Oh, bloody hell. They'll make us do that soon. You wait and see. I also did this when I was back living in the UK during the lockdown years. I agree with you that it's not ideal to have to carry ID wherever you go, but it stops the powers that shouldn't be from being able to mess with you. The problem is that's kind of like reversing, it's like that's another way of saying the powers that be will mess with you if you don't carry your ID about with you. So beware to carry your ID. Do you see what I mean? A couple of times over the years in Mexico, we've had prison breaks that were high-profile people where high-profile people escaped. Most of these are Mexicans who have an Anglo-Saxon look to them. It's funny, Gary. I think it's very odd but instantly how people use the term Anglo-Saxon to refer to people in the modern world. I mean, I know what it means, especially in North America. It means someone who's like white European looking. But Anglo-Saxon refers to a culture that existed in Britain in the Middle Ages, primarily in the early Middle Ages. It only existed for maybe a few hundred years and no longer exists. It ceased to exist. It has its legacy in the form of the language we speak, English. And of course, it's influenced modern England and the rest of the world. But Anglo-Saxons don't exist. It's rather people use Anglo-Saxon in the same way people misuse the term Anglo-Saxon in the same way they misuse the term Celtic, which is very similar. There are no Celts today. Celtic people racially are the same as the people who live today in Europe, but it was a culture that existed in the first millennium BC primarily. It ceased to exist with the rise of the Roman Empire and other powers, which the Roman Empire took over most of the Celtic world. But of course, the Celtic culture has influenced the modern world in the same way Roman culture has influenced the modern world. Primarily, and also, of course, because the languages the Celts use still exist, primarily in the British Isles. But there are no Celts today. They don't exist. Anyway, that's off topic. Long story short, whenever this happens, our city becomes filled with police roadblocks. Knowing they are looking for a person who looks Anglo-Saxon, they freak out at the sight of me. Having my passport and UK driver's license handy means I don't get into much hassle. Cheers. Well, Gary, I mean, maybe it's after. I understand, like, you need that if you're really going to get that much aggro when people escape from jail that look a little bit white. Of course, most people in Mexico are kind of brownish, aren't they? Sort of like they're mestizo, part Amerindian, part Spanish, Spanish colonials, Spanish immigrants. But I mean, I do sometimes wonder, actually, because I'm I'm a big fan of real life prison escapes, especially like the George Blake one has fascinated me, and I did an entire video about it. Would George Blake have been able to do that today? Probably not, because there'd be so much CCTV in the area around the jail. It probably wouldn't work these days. Alex says underneath, Alex Ritchie, not your passport, not your license. They belong to the Crown, and you are in fact committing fraud by using their copyrighted gumph. Oh yes, that's right, Gary. Yeah, that's a good point, Alex. Does it have your full common law name, or does it just say Robinson Gary? Gary says, interesting, but I don't quite understand. Let me know what you mean exactly. Are you maybe referring to the issue of natural law? I think that's what it's called, etc. Which denotes that no one can force you to show ID. So if so, I certainly agree with that. However, I've been in some hot areas, and the people asking for ID are not to be effed with. Well, yeah, I mean, see, police in some parts of the world are actually a lot rougher than police in Britain. I mean, one of the reasons Jean-Charles de Menezes ran in London and ended up being shot by the police and killed was that he's Brazilian. Now, in Brazil, if the police in London tell you to stop, the best thing to do is stop and talk to them. There's only probably nothing will go wrong. If the police in Brazil tell you to stop, run, because they will take you behind a parked car and shoot you, and your death certificate will read heart attack. That's how corrupt it is. This is why Menezes ran, you see. And I don't know about what the police in Mexico are like, but you know, it may well be they, as you say, not to be effed with. So it's understandable about, you know, you could say, well, it's under duress, I carry this. Just so you don't keep getting poked and prodded by them all the time and get dragged off to a police cell 3 times a week. You know, you could say you're doing it under duress. Gary says, the first sign you are not playing ball and you are going to federal pound me in the arse prison until they can run a background immigration check. Yeah, I often hear people say that if it were them, they would refuse outright. But when you are randomly pulled from your truck by 10 Special Forces stormtroopers carrying AK-47s in the middle of the desert, you tend to want the easy route to get out of the situation by showing them your ID. So Gary's just repeating. He does actually confirm that what I've just suspected about Mexico. I've also been in situations where persons in uniform, shall we say, will not accept a passport as ID unless it's backed up by a driving license. A difficult topic to navigate in reality. Cheers. Well, Gary, so I don't judge you at all. I think it's perfectly understandable. You know, it is. You know. Gary says here, and Anthony Peake. This is completely off topic, Ben, mate, but I thought I would leave this comment while I'm at my desk and you have YouTube open. Have you seen that the new Alan Partridge stratagem show on Amazon? No, I haven't. Alan Partridge, I'm a very big fan of. As you know, I make several allusions to him in some of my videos. But if it's a new one on Amazon, let me just say, is it going to be stupid and silly? I'm very disappointed to say that it's void of any jokes and is woke in the extreme. No sign of the Bangkok Chick Boys. Oh, bloody hell, Gary. Oh, no, they haven't ruined Alan Partridge as well. Oh, dear, have they dropped? Oh, dear. Steve Coogan, you see, unfortunately, is a complete and utter cuck. But Armando Iannucci, who wrote it, he used to be funny. He sounds Italian. He's actually Scottish, but is he still in it? Hang on. What's Armando? Oh, yeah, Armando Iannucci. What's he doing these days? Scottish satirist. Let's see, film, television. I'm Alan Partridge. That's why I'm Alan Partridge. What's he doing these days? Avenue 5, Veep, Hunter P. The Mid-Morning Matters with Alan Partridge. Oh dear. He was executive producer. Oh dear. That was back in 2010-11. That was a British digital radio show. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. How sad. That's the last thing he did with Alan Partridge. You're right. He's not doing it. Right, so Gary, they've dropped Iannucci. Well, no wonder it's shit then. I'm not going to watch it. I can't bear to watch a franchise I love and it's been completely and utterly desecrated and vandalized. It's just sad. It's sad to see something I love being treated so badly. So unfortunately, Steve Coogan, as I said, unfortunately would go along with it probably because he's so lefty. I mean, he's a very funny guy. I mean, I admire him as a comedian, but his politics are terrible. But so he's gone along with it. But well, how sad? How sad is that? Sax Glenn says on Anthony Peake, knowledge comes with death's release. Well, according to Anthony, it doesn't. What happens is you just go back to the beginning and like a Groundhog Day. You do eventually gain knowledge, but you gain knowledge through a different process. It's not revealed to you by God or something in heaven. It's something you gain over time. Reply to comment 69. Oh, it's the one before. JB says, have you seen the television series Dark? Best time travel sci-fi mystery series of all time, in my opinion. Well, you know something, JB? Funny you should say that, because Anthony, if you follow him on social media, you know, Anthony actually recommended Dark. He said he said 1899 was very good. I actually watched and reviewed 1899. Dark is by the same team, the same German production team. He says it's really good. So yeah, I mean, I'll check that out. JB says The Fountain is a great film, highly recommended. Someone else mentioned The Fountain. What is The Fountain? Who was it? I've read The Fountainhead. Oh, yeah, someone else mentioned it's a Russian thing. Yeah. Oh, The Fountain. Yes, it's some kind of Russian stuff. Is it? It's American. Sorry, American epic romantic drama film, not Russian. So, blending elements of fantasy, history, spirituality, and science fiction. Yeah, that looks good. Looks very good indeed. Anthony Peake, Rick Horden. Woes can keep his brutalism. Great reportage, Ben. Thanks, Rick. Yeah, Millennial Woes is depressed, and you can see he has like. I wish him luck. I hope he gets better soon. But you can see the sort of emotional pain he's under, and I wish him all the best. I do. Rick Horden says, "Did you catch Anthony AA trying to obtain some Prime, Ben? Hilarious stuff. Worth a gander. Well worth a gander." AA? Who's AA? Not Anthony Peake. Andrew. Oh, who's AA? Am I supposed to know who that is? Sorry if I've forgotten. Not Anthony Peake. Trying to obtain some Prime. Who's AA? Is that something on Amazon Prime? I don't know. Sorry, it's Rick. I'm really terribly sorry. You're gonna have to explain. Same video. Jimmy Wormholes says, "I am the resurrection, the Stone Roses." Oh, right. Well, Colin Wolford likes the Stone Roses. They're sort of great. They're sort of good indie 90s bands. Yeah. Anthony Peake. Lemon says, what does Lemon say? Let me just check. Is everything working all right? Audio. Yes, it's working. It should be. Good. Lemon says, Anthony Peake, is right, Ben. Don't ever comment. But I've been watching you for over 10 years, since the 2012 Mayan calendar era. Top man. Oh, thanks, Lemon. What do you have? You've commented now. Welcome. Thanks for commenting. Same video, Keith Smith. Seems like you have had an interesting adventure. I did indeed. Keith. Thank you. Zoella says, oh, this is another old one. Richard Dawkins, MBA criminal. I really like this one. This is like a comedy one. Zoella says, what's the difference between passive and active voice in creative writing? All right. It's not in any writing, in any language. Passive, active voice is saying like, I threw the ball. So it's a subject, verb, object. I threw the ball. Passive voice is when the focus is on the object. So the ball. So rather than saying I threw the ball, you say the ball was thrown by me. Now, English uses that more than most other languages, actually, because German. I think German does have a passive voice in its grammar, but it's hardly ever used. Because Germans tend to say, rather than saying, I don't know the exact words, can't remember what the words were. Rather than saying the ball was thrown by me, they say, one threw the ball. They use the word man. Man is a pronoun which roughly translates as one in English. You just said, as the Queen used to say, one is not amused or something. Man in German is a pronoun that vaguely means the same thing. And they say, Germans would say the equivalent of one throws the ball rather than the ball was thrown by me. So that's the difference between those two. Carl Helsby says with Anthony Peake, "Hi Ben, I really enjoyed your Anthony Peake book launch video and the two truth seekers." Oh, thanks, Carl Helsby. "I've not watched you for a while, been researching my interests." Well, fair enough, mate. You can always come back to me anytime you like. I keep my videos there. I don't delete them, so you can always catch up. "Keep up the great work and stay with cash as long as possible." Hey, thanks. I will. "I have returned from Berlin and it's very cashless, especially commuting around the city. Getting fed and watered." Really? Oh dear. "You probably don't remember me, but that's okay. Nice to see you again and look forward to watching much more of your work." Oh, thanks, Carl. I do remember you. I do recognize your name straight away. And you know what? That's disappointing about Berlin. I mean, I've never been to Berlin, but that's awful. It's cashless. That really is. Carl says on Pylon Hoax, "Depending on which company they are manufactured by, wind turbines are constructed of steel, fiberglass, plastic, or resin and aluminium in the UK." All right, see, because the steel and aluminium can be recycled, but the glass and fiberglass, I don't think, and resin can be. This is why they're burying them. It's really awful. They're burying these things. Anthony Peake, Israel Diego Rivera, genius to the real genius, says, "Anthony Peake believes in demons. Peake's ideas are Freemasonry in public view. They believe a higher intelligence has been behind the ascent of man. Carl Sagan also tells a similar tale when explaining the fourth dimension." I've never heard Anthony Peake mention demons. I'm on his third book. I'm on reading the book I've just shown you in this film. I'm halfway through that, and he doesn't mention demons in it. He doesn't mention now the word demon. The word daemon doesn't mean the same as demon, although etymologically they're related. The word we use for demons, that is an evil spirit, comes from the same word. It's essentially daemon, a Greek word, which simply means this higher soul. So he believes in. See, I think you are mixing up the ideas. You see, when Anthony Peake believes in the daemon, but it's not a demon. It's because there's confusion over the word. Now, Carl Sagan actually he does mention Edwin Abbott's Flatland, which he does like a demonstration of Edwin Abbott's Flatland using the model, but that's not the same. Diego Rivera. It's not the same at all. I think you've got these. I think I don't think you're quite understanding what he's talking about here. And the same thing with Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan doesn't believe in demons either. Anthony Peake book launch. "Great you kept your calm, Ben. That book launch could have turned nasty." Well, when David Young turned up, I kind of went, "Oh God, what's going to happen now?" As it happened, luckily he behaved himself, and I did. So we just avoided each other, and through mutual tacit consent, which is fine. That's what I wanted. See How We Are Living said, "Great stuff. I love Tony's work." Thanks, See How We Are Living. Nothing As It Seems says on the same video, "Suppose you get to the river Styx and Charon says he doesn't accept cash. What then?" Of course, Charon is going to go contactless, isn't he? Oh yeah. I don't know. I kick up a fuss and say, "I'm handling you legal tender. Either you accept this, or I'm going to assume I get a free ferry ride." Anthony Peake book launch. "Thank you, Ben. You reminded me of this great song," says Hugo Rune. What's that here? Hang on, let's have a look. Oh, we have an ad. Let's just go to share screen while the ad is playing. It's quite good, actually, that the ad... where is it? Can't even find it now. Oh, here it is. Oh, right. Christopher, don't pay the ferryman. Nice one, Hugo. You know, I wonder if that's where Anthony got the idea from. Oh yeah. Diego Rivera, Alaska UFO live stream. All right. Breaking news: another UFO shot down over Canada. Yes, I know. I did a yes, and I put a reply to him. Yeah, I put a reply there saying yes, and Max Q says on Alaska UFO live stream. Yeah, they did this. Well, of course, you know what happened, did you? The recovered wreckage will stay in Canada and be analysed by experts there. And I put a reply on here saying, yes, indeed, see the new pinned comment in the notice. Jam Noise says, what recovered wreckage? That is what they're telling us. They didn't have to reveal any of this. So why are they? It's BS. Well, that's a good question. I mean, why didn't they just lie? Why don't they just lie to us? I mean, it's not like they haven't done that before. I mean, I've asked this. I've written a new article for UFO Truth magazine that's actually coming out on the beginning of the month if you want it. It's only a couple of quid. Yeah. Why don't they just... It's not like they've had trouble lying to us before, is it? Yeah. Max Q says to Jam Noise, the wreckage of the object was left after it hit the ice. Not in Alaska, it wasn't. Now, from the latest story, I mean, I thought about doing another video about this, but there's no real point. I did cover this on the latest HPANWO radio show, which was kind of a continuation of those 3 HPANWO videos I did. The 3 live streams on the UFO disclosure video. There's no... They called off the search for the second and third object debris. So there's the one over Yukon, Canada, and the other one over Lake Huron. Now, there's not necessarily anything sinister about that. The Yukon, I think the Yukon one may simply be a suspended. They may have suspended it until the weather gets warmer, which will happen in a couple of weeks. As I said, Yukon is an extremely cold place, but it does have a short, warm season when it's possible to go there and maybe find something. The Lake Huron object is probably the reason they called it off is probably because it's too deep. The debris will be on the lake bed, and at that point, it's about 700 feet deep. This does not make salvage impossible, but it does make it very difficult. As a result, they're probably going to suspend it for the time being. Anthony Peak book launched. The lights were low. All right, here we go. I've just got a timestamp here. Yeah, I think he was rumored to be in the Priory of Sion as well. If you know, Hawksmoor, yeah, Hawksmoor. Hi Ben, spot on. The restaurant's named after Nicholas Hawksmoor, 1661 to 1736, an English architect who contributed to the design of notable buildings, including St. Paul's Cathedral. But it's the Gothic church of Spitalfields, a stone's throw from the first restaurant that lent the steakhouse its name. Right. Well, thanks for the information, Lights. It's very, very good. That's the place we went to. Alaska UFO live stream. Joystick John Joe. That's a good name. Joystick John Joe. Welcome, Joystick John Joe, who just puts a balloon and a laughter face. Alaska UFO live stream. Big and amazing says that's a good name. Big and amazing. There's another tonight in Canada that's ordered takedown. Wonder what happened to those diver orbs popping up everywhere. That's the ones like the Omaha object. Yeah, same video. Gary Robinson just saw Insta story earlier about a Tic Tac cigar UFO that was shot down. I'm guessing this is not what the video's about. I don't think there was any video about any Tic Tac getting shot down. It appears there are no independent witnesses to this. There may be evidence that it happened, but there doesn't appear to be any. There doesn't appear to be anything like, a video of someone on the ground going, wow, look at that. Steve Mumbling is here on Alaska UFO. This is what a balloon can do that a satellite can't. Okay, here we go.
An awful lot of their intercontinental ballistic missile silos.
There we go.
In fact, Malmstrom Air Force Base, which is one of these bases that that's armed with Minuteman III.
This is quite a long video, 7 minutes, but I'll have to watch this, Steve. I've not seen this video yet, but Chinese weather balloon checking the weather over Montana. Okay, I hope you explain what you mean here. Anyway, let's have a look. This new device they've shot down. Must do the voice. Sounds an awful like the Tic Tac, doesn't it? Personally, I think it's a Russian psyop because of what's going on in Ukraine and the US support for Ukraine. All right, so they flew something that looks like a Tic Tac over the USA, what, to confuse them? How does that benefit them strategically, Steve? It's strange that. Anyway, the Russians want to give the impression they're testing the detection capabilities of NORAD in preparation for war. They want to give the impression they're testing the detection capabilities of NORAD. The thing is, though, they are anyway, and there's ways and means. There's ways and means of them doing that for the Americans' benefit without generating a new scandal. It seems a rather flamboyant way to do it, but I don't know. You see, you might be right. Actually, I mean, it's way too soon to tell. But then again, why do the Americans they start saying all stuff about objects? Why don't they just lie to us? Doesn't make sense, mate. Doesn't make sense. Alaska UFO live stream. Dark Corners. Hey, Ben, mate. I just saw your old haunt, the John Ratcliffe, on an episode of Morse. Thought immediately of you, ferrying patients up and down those illustrious corridors. You know, Dark Corners, I was there when they were filming. I mean, it may not have been that episode. I wasn't in it, but a couple of the reporters were, actually. They were like extras. So, yeah. But thanks very much. I'm glad you like that. Alaska UFO live stream, Jam Noise 72 says, bro, I think this is all BS. They seem to be prepping for something, and now they want eyes on the skies instead of looking at phones, lol. I don't believe a word of the news anymore. Things have changed. There is still a live event since... This is still a live event since 2020. Storylines are changing, and they are panicking and throwing all their toys out of the pram at this point. Imagine if they try Bluebeam, LMFAO. Yeah, they might be. They may try Bluebeam and the fake alien invasion, but if it's BS and they want, this is interesting. They want eyes on the sky instead of looking at phones. Now, the idea that this is some kind of distraction is quite a common one, Jackie, on both sides of the skeptic woo debate. The thing about it is, though, if they want to distract people from something, it's understandable they would want to, and there's all kinds of things they want to distract people from. This train crash in Ohio, Epstein's list, etc. There's ways and means of doing that without generating some giant scandal. I mean, I suspect, see, if it was some kind of distraction, they would want something different. They'd want something more conventional, more prosaic, something that would shut down people's minds and narrow their gaze, rather than broadening them out and making them think more. So it'll be something like Kate Middleton's tits. Do you remember Kate Middleton's tits? 2011, it was the 5th anniversary of 7/7. There was the hearing, and a lot of focus on it. And of course, Richard D. Hall has done a video about this, saying they needed something to distract people away. Now, they could have staged UFO events, but those wouldn't have the same effect, because they'd make people look at it and go, wow, and broaden out their view into other things. What they want people to do is they want something scandalous and very, very attention-seeking, but at the same time prosaic and conventional, to keep people in the quotidian, in the insipid. Something that makes people go, they want something that will make people go, oh my God, but not something that will make people go, what's this? Do you see what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. This is why I doubt that it's some kind of distraction. Ask UFO live stream. Steve mumbling, cheer up, Ben. You might find this interesting. Oh, what's this? It's a YouTube link.
Nothing compares to an indulgent escape.
Shiny satellite lasers recorded over Hawaii. Oh, I saw this, yeah.
A collection of hand-picked 5-star hotels.
I saw this. This is weird.
Indulgent Escapes by Jet2 Holidays.
What is this?
Astronomers say a Chinese satellite was recently seen beaming down green lasers over the islands. This video captured atop the Subaru telescope on Mauna Kea, operated by the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan.
That was weird, Steve.
Story.
The lasers flash for just a couple seconds. Initially
I've heard about
from
that.
a NASA altimeter satellite the Japanese put out to...
Steve, I don't know what that was all about. I honestly don't know what that was all about. Very, very strange indeed. Very strange situation, I think, yeah. Donna Wellham says on Alaska UFO, all good, thanks, Ben. Lots of various sightings starting to pop up now, Ben. Something's brewing. Not half, Donna, not half. Yeah, I mean, the question is, what is brewing? I mean, it's funny enough now. It's been a week since I did these series of live streams, and there's been no new real news. I mean, I covered it on last week's HPANWO show, where I mentioned Biden's speech. It took an entire week for Biden even to say anything from when the first object was discovered. That's weird, a dereliction of duty. He came in and he did his, in balloons in Chinese, we think it's private recreational balloons. And he walked off, people were shouting questions. Oh, I'm not taking any questions. So that's weird, isn't it? That's odd. That's an odd thing. So something is brewing. I don't know what. I mean, people are saying it's a distraction, a psyop. It doesn't quite fit. If it is, it could be. I can't rule out that it's some kind of giant social experiment. I don't think it's a distraction, though, for the reasons I said when I spoke to Jackie. Okay, so Max Q on Alaska UFO live stream. The latest Apollo Defectives video has landed on Steve Mumberling's channel. Scott Henderson gets his ass fed to him on a plate. Well, I will say, no, he doesn't. Just wait for my own version. Right. This is going to be fun, Max. I'm going to enjoy telling you this. The edited version, the one with which Neil is editing at the moment, is going to be available soon. What Steve uploaded to his channel was the raw footage from Skype. That is the raw recording, which includes the documents that Scott Henderson was referring to. So, yeah. I think you were celebrating a bit too soon. Okay, we're nearly finished with this hour. Freemasons Hall, HPANWO London Truth Tour Part 3. All right, Melvin Sherman says, I want that guy. Well, I don't want that guy, but Part 2 was only in Italian. Propaganda Due was just the Italians. Oh, sorry, P2. Sorry, Part 2. P2, Propaganda Due, yeah. That guy, but I don't want that guy. But P2 was only in Italian. Propaganda Due was just the Italians. Oh, right. I don't know. Well, Roberto Gelli was his murder was ritualistic. He was hung where the tide ebbs and flows, etc., etc. Hung on the full moon or something. Yeah. Okay. Anthony Pink book launch. Popcorn boxing. All right. We've got like a timestamp here.
With one exception, lovely people. You know who the exception is.
Right. Who was the exception out of the lovely people? Popcorn boxing, it was David Young. Keep watching, I explain. And he said, oh, okay, you answer the question. Yes, it was David Young. But he didn't cause any trouble. I mean, there was no real issue with him being there. He was well behaved. Canada UFO live stream, Carl Helsby. Great show, Ben. Also, UK Mirror. Time traveler claims in 2023 war between humans and aliens from 2069 made prophecies Inc., including devastating earthquakes, a discovery in the ocean, and an intergalactic war. Maybe or maybe not. Maybe not, Carl. But so thanks for the comment. But thanks, Carl. People like that were always making mistakes. Remember old. There's so many. I did an article. About this. I wrote a script for one of Zohar's videos, which I don't think you can get anymore. But which made this point. There's so many people who claim to be time travelers. They come back from the future. Oh, I'm back, and these things, this, that, and that happens. The year comes around, and what they predict doesn't happen. Like that guy John Titor. All the stuff he said never came true, did he? He said the Athens Olympics would be cancelled. It wasn't. There'd be war by the mid-2010s. Wasn't. See, that fits with time. Backwards time travel is impossible, literally, because of the paradoxes. Now, what you can have is you can actually have the experience of time travel through the many worlds hypothesis, where you go to parallel universes that resemble Earth's own past. In that way, John Titor may not be lying. He may actually have experienced that kind of past. See what I mean? All right, Canada UFO live stream first, says Jim Chambers. You weren't first. Carl was first. Rick Clellan says on Canada UFO live stream, weather balloon or swamp gas? Oh, Rick, take your pick, because you can't have a third one, can you? You can't have a third one. Save video. Stephen Garrity. We've been let down so many times. Can now be the time? Well, I doubt it wasn't. I never really seriously expected it to be. I really didn't seriously expect it to be the time. But there you go. There you go. Anyway, it's now almost time to end. I'm actually almost at the end now of part 2, so I think I will leave it there, and we will come back to you in part 3. Okay, guys, hour number 3 underway. Yeah, I was just thinking about the Anthony Peake thing. I think probably the tabloid press are going to have to find some nickname. This is based on what people were saying earlier on the Anthony Peake video. They're going to find some kind of nickname, I think, for people who insist on paying for things with cash. Now, I wonder what it'll be. That's for the media, the tabloid press. Probably cashies. They'll probably call us cashies, or I don't know, cash fiends. Got it. Cash deniers. Yes, cash deniers. That's what they'll call us. I've just been thinking about that, actually. I took a little break since the last segment. I've just been thinking about that. Yeah. Okay. Right. Where are we? Well, someone says. Oh, someone said we've been let down so many times. Did I read this one out? Stephen Garrity. Yeah, we've been let down so many times. Can now be the time? That is what I want to know. That is exactly the question are the are the white hats in control of the truth embargo? I mean, I bring this up in the video. Is it possible that the white hats have taken over the whole thing? They're now controlling the truth embargo. You know, I talked about this in the video. There's still no reason to think that's not a possibility. Obviously, it's something I'd like very much. Don't know if it's true, though. Don't know if it's true. Hopefully we'll find out. Okay, Lake Huron press conference live stream. Yarlan Zay says, interesting. This is the first time that they'll happily shoot down a balloon, but not engage with or take down planes that suddenly change course and head for sensitive areas, including the Pentagon, causing damage. Yeah, and the World Trade Center, Zarlan. Yes, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Yes. Keith Smith says, vehicle-sized silver cylinder floating object, miniature Hindenburg style Chinese spy drones. Oh, hallelujah! Keith Smith has just succeeded where NORAD, with all its billions of dollars of technology, has failed. Well, how do you know that, Keith? Let me know. Don't tell me you've been getting pissed with old Chuck Schumer again, have you? Yeah, is that it? He maybe invited you around to be the 4th person, in that strange little incident where he was held hostage. I'm being nasty to you, Keith. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. Lake Huron press conference live stream. Keith Smith says, is Co-op's own branded budget wine any good? It is not bad, actually. Depends which one you get. The own brands. Was I drinking the own brand? Yeah, it was not it's actually like the Argentine one. It's quite nice. Well, no, Chilean. Is either Argentine or Chilean? I know the label anyway. Yeah, I know the label. Israel Diego Rivera, Genius to the Real Genius, says, you're working overtime, Ben. I certainly did that night, didn't I? Yeah. Keith Smith says, I thought you were a UFO expert. Yet 3 hours later, I am none the wiser. Can't you not communicate directly with the aliens like Simon and Miles? Well, Miles doesn't communicate doesn't communicate directly with the aliens. Simon does. I haven't actually looked at what Simon actually says about this. I'll have to go back onto Telegram. Simon will have something to say about this, won't he? I haven't opened Telegram for over 3 months. There's going to be a massive backlog on there. Oh, God, yeah. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what he has to say, actually. And lots of several other people as well. Canada UFO. What about Project Camelot? Yeah. I mean, I looked at what all the sort of serious UFO people have said. But what about the people who are more into other areas like me? People more like myself. Well, there's me. Did you see the thing I did with Jules? The Bitter and Sweet. It's on HPANWO Voice. There's a link there. Dark Corners, quote unquote. They're here. They're here. I've got to hope we're not getting poltergeists as well. That's the last thing we need, Dark Corners. That's the Canada UFO. Lake Huron live stream, Barty's Den. All I can hear is Ben's breathing and making slurping and sniffing noises. Oh, Bardi, I did put the microphone out of the way when I realised what the problem was. Yeah. Lake Huron Charlie Chili 943 said, very interesting. The Pentagon officially explicitly stated that it is not a balloon, just an object that they clearly don't know how it is airborne and what's propelling it. Exactly, Charlie. That's exactly what's weird about this whole thing. That's exactly what's very strange about what's going on here. I don't get it either. Highway Anthony Peak book launch Highway Star. Highway Star looks a bit like me. he says here, I do like a good Ben out and about video. Thanks, Highway. I will try and make some more of them. I do have some planned for other things I'm going. For example, there's the Weird Weekend North coming. Oh, right, we have an old video here. The Afterlife, a second reply to Stefan Molyneux. Popcorn boxing. Why do you keep repeating the Richard Dawkins quote? Which one, Popcorn? There's several. I mean, I disagree with the guy thoroughly, but which one are you talking about? Right, Alaska UFO. Steve Mumbling says, so there's lots of infighting between the UFO grifters. Now that is funny. Well, Steve, I find that funny too, The thing is, a lot of the UFO grifters, though, are the people who are always denying them. There's like Stephen Cambion. He's always going on about Goof on. Goof on and him having some kind of drama feud. and then there's loads of other. Oh God, You see, like the grifting goes on, exists on both sides, Steve. It exists within the skeptic movement too. Grifting, that is, people doing things to try and make money off stuff. You find them everywhere, unfortunately. In any field, there's going to be dishonest people who are going to try and make money. The problem is Stephen Cambion thinks that's everyone except him. That's the problem. He's like Royce Myers, the UFO watchdog. Remember that? I showed you that page, didn't I? Right, Lake Huron press conference live stream, Dark Corner. So many live streams lately. What a time to be alive. Dark Corner, I thought so. I really did. Steve Mumbling on Canada UFO live stream. No one on Earth has the technology to shoot down ET. This tells us we can rule out ET. No, it doesn't. As I explained in the video, Steve, I explained very clearly there are instances where it appears there has been shoot downs. These are possibly things that ET has done deliberately. They may have deliberately sacrificed pieces of their technology to allow them to be shot down. This is most likely a psyop being carried out by the Russians. Oh, yeah, so you said. I've explained to you why I didn't think that's the case. Because of the increasing support given to Ukraine by the US, they want to give the impression they're testing NORAD's detection at range and response times in preparation for war. Well, why don't they just do what everyone else does, Steve, and carry out military exercises in international waters just off the US coast? That's what people normally do. That's what states normally do in situations like this. Why send things into the US airspace that the US can only call objects, create political scandals, and aggravate nobody except UFO believers? Seems an odd kind of Russian psyop. It would probably be politically sensitive to call out the Russians on this. You see, the Russians indeed, I think the Russians do want to test NORAD. Indeed, they wanted to test all Western defenses, and they do. But they have ways and means of doing that without sending weird things with strings hanging off them, which tinfoil hatters thinks is an alien invasion. For example, they keep flying their high-speed bombers very close to British airspace. Why do they do that? Exactly why you say. They want to test detection range and response times, and and things like that. They also want to intimidate and be a little bit belligerent as well. There's not the same problem with calling out the Chinese. We're not supporting anyone that's fighting them. Oh, really? Have you seen the foreign aid that's been going to Taiwan? Have you seen Nancy Pelosi heading for Taiwan? The Chinese go nuts about that. Lake Huron press conference live stream. Marley Pumpkin. Yet more shit for the immature. What a boring idiot you are. Oh, really, Marley? And what does that make you? Einstein, you watch me. You watch me continuously. You watch every damn thing I say. It's really weird, right? I feel sorry for you. You know how many? There are over 2,000 hours of material uploaded to YouTube every minute. 2,000 hours every minute. You can spend your whole life watching YouTube and only watch less than 1% of it. Yet what do? You come to my channel and watch everything that I produce. You realize how much you're flattering me, Marley? And you put a comment saying how awful it is. Dearie me. Oh, dear me. You're like me with Steve mumbling. Lake Huron press conference live stream. Hugo Rune says, Ben, why do you consider my true medication, cannabis, to be a danger to anyone? Cannabis deaths 0, alcohol deaths, I know. I do get Sativex prescribed that is pure THC CBD in a spray that I spray directly under my tongue. Ben, even the way you said my name, I give up, Ben. I'll not bother you again. Hugo, you've had too much. Hugo Rune, that's your name. Whenever I've never said that anything like that. What I said was that I had an experience. That's all I said. I had an experience, and it was not. I was not in any danger, but it was unpleasant. That's all I'll say. It was pretty unpleasant, and I hope I don't have one like that again. I had another cannabis experience, my first one, that was very, very nice. So, what are you talking about? You sure it's me you're talking about? Canada UFO live stream. Finer, Healthier Life says, it's all part of the agenda to fake an alien invasion, to unite under one world government. Von Braun said it the day the last card they will play. Well, Finer, Healthier Life, that's a good name. It was actually Carol Rosin quoting Werner von Braun allegedly, but I've got no reason to doubt her. She gains nothing from making it up. It's what you just said is possible. It is indeed. This could be the last card they're playing now. And now since I made this video and you posted this 10 days ago, there's been no updates. But if there are, be sure. And if I think that's going on, be sure that I will be taking them to task on this. Woody Black, Lake Huron. They've shot another one down. That's 4. Yes. That's what this is all about, Woody. Yeah, this video is all about that. And that's kind of like very... I mean, it could be a coincidence, but am I still sharing the screen? No, I'm not. Okay. Well, the sign up saying StreamYard is sharing your audio, and well, it's not. I've just checked. Benjo So says on Lake Huron, I'm scared. No, Benjo, don't be scared, mate. Don't be scared, honestly. Don't worry. This will only, I think this is the most likely thing is that this is, I think the way they're talking, I have to accept maybe it's most likely thing is that the white hats have some influence over this process, which is good. So something to celebrate, not to be scared of. Max Q says on Lake Huron, it's Rover from The Prisoner. Oh, yes, Rover. Now, Rover, ironically, was a weather balloon, I believe. Let's have a look. Hang on. It's this thing. Rover, the Prisoner. Have you seen this? This is this strange object here. Well, this is what it does. It is actually a weather balloon, ironically. There, look. This would chase after anyone who's trying to escape from the village in the Prisoner TV series and catch them. Sometimes it would kill you. Sometimes it would just catch you and bring you back. But no one could get past it. But ironically, this actually was a weather balloon they used. It was a weather balloon envelope. Yeah. Okay, so all right. Max Q says on Lake Huron, the latest Apollo defectives video hits Mumbling's channel. I know, I've seen it, Max. No need to click that link. Lake Huron, Steve mumbling. You look and sound like you haven't slept for 3 days. Lol. Well, I hadn't slept. I was a bit late at night where I was, Steve, and I had a few glasses of wine. Right, UFO Disclosure 2023, Week of the Objects. Bumbelina says disclosure is quietly underway, in my humble opinion. You know, I hope. I hope so, Bumbelina. Do you know what? It's possible. It is literally possible that that's what's going on. The White Hats are now in control, and they're basically doing like a 17th letter thing, educating the public and getting them ready for more revelations. And Jamnoy says here, quietly, WTF. This is in your face, blatant, but I don't think it's disclosure. More like distraction. Now, Jackie, it could indeed be some kind of psyop, some kind of giant social experiment, or even the first step to the last card. But distraction, as I've explained to you earlier, I don't think it's a distraction. It's not the kind of story they would use as a distraction. Right, Hugo Rune. I mean, a lot of people, for example, some people have been saying that it's the Americans are testing their own equipment, like Styx Hexenhammer did. Well, you know, there's ways and means of doing that without flying things in subarctic North America and creating a political scandal. They have ways and means of doing that. Same video, Hugo Rune. Thanks, Ben. You're welcome, Hugo. I'm glad you enjoyed this new UFO Disclosure 2023 video. Steve Mumbling says, I don't know what happened to your comments, Hugo. I'm afraid I can't tell you anything about Norfolk Island, as I've never been there. No, me neither. Me neither. Right, Canada UFO live stream. It's Shelley of the Red. Hi, Shelley. How you doing? Of course, you are on YouTube. I think I've subbed to you. Shelley is someone I know very well from Odyssey. Always comments on my videos. Well, she hasn't got any content, but she subscribes to Styx and a couple of other people. Dark Journalist. Oh, I thought I subbed to him. I've been bloody unsubscribed from Dark Journalist. Oh, Ron Paul. Yeah, I'm just subbing to Shelley's subs. All right then, Shelley. Thanks very much. And Shelley says here, heads up. For whatever reason, YouTube does not have people's most current videos posted on their channels. Videos on the channel are delayed by more than 24 hours. Not super serious, because you can find a post going back a day in your subscriptions, but YouTube is monkeying with video access. Like, say you tell someone to look up a channel, they won't see the listings for over a day. Shelley, yeah, I've believe it or not, I've had this problem on Safari. Now, that's Safari on the iPhone, on this phone. That's the iPhone. I tried searching for Miles Johnston's channel. I couldn't find it. If you go to YouTube and you search, you know, you'll get Basis Project Miles Johnston. It will come up. You'll get the BBC documentaries about him. You get the Vice documentaries that call him names and stuff like that. I literally scrolled down about 50 hits before, and I gave up because I couldn't find anything which is part of Miles's channel. And I've seen that over and over again. I mean, I've got this video to upload now, and if anything weird happens to that, I'll let you know. And we have a thread now on UFO Disclosure 2023, a week of the objects. Gary Robinson, Ben, mate. I'm just watching a new video from Maya Tusi. Yeah, he's a good. I like him. Who claims Rishi refuses to rule out an alien invasion? What? On Maya Tusi's channel? Where's this? Tusi. Really? So Rishi Sunak is. God, I don't know if I'm going to find this now because he uploads about 6 videos a day. Oh my God. Okay, I'll have to 10 days sort of yeah. Oh yeah, here we are. Rishi on aliens. What's this about?
Let's talk about the upcoming alien invasion, because apparently the political class and the mainstream media are suddenly interested in it.
All right, Gary, I'll have a look at this after the. Thanks for letting me know. Honestly, I didn't see that one. Like I say, he uploads so damn much. But I will have to watch that video. But thanks for letting me know about that. He says it all a bit strange, eh? Might be time to re-release your Roswell trilogy with newly designed collector's edition sleeves. Cheers. Well, I'm thinking of bringing out a box set. That's what I'm working at next. Yeah, getting a box set for them. Neil, they are playing us like a piano. Oh yes, they're playing chopsticks, mate. Steve mumbling. But mind you, in what way? Who is playing us and for what purpose? Someone is playing us. Even if the White Hats are in control, they're playing us. because they know they unfortunately understand that the general public has a challenge to face when it comes to things going on. Steve Mumbling says underneath, Rishi Washi is probably hoping for an alien invasion. It would really help him out right now, wouldn't it? Well, Steve, I think even if the Close Encounters Greys landed in the middle of Parliament Square, it would do anything for his popularity ratings. As predicted, nothing to see here. The US government says you can put a line through ET. Now they're talking about 4 balloons that have been shot down. No, Steve. Biden sort of mumbled it at his press conference a week later. Karine Jean-Pierre says it, who's one of his appointees, said that. Oh, she made a joke about it. Oh, I know. It's the first combat detonation of live ordnance in US airspace since World War II. The previous time, ironically, being UFOs as well. Battle of Los Angeles, 1942. That's a very serious matter, and she makes a joke out of it. Have you noticed, Steve, and I made this point in the video, have you noticed how the political executive and the military staff seem to be saying contradictory things? It's like they can't agree on how to handle this situation. So the people you want the lines put through are saying that. But you believe them? I wouldn't believe them if I were you. Gary Robinson says underneath to Neil, there was a rather suspect UFO segment on GB News today. They interviewed a lady in Derbyshire who claimed to have video of a UFO that she filmed in the countryside behind her house. You're watching all the same channels I am, Gary. I'm going to have to go to GB News next after I've watched Maya. Locked away, she said it was locked away in a vault. She went on to say that no one is allowed to see it. Oh. We just take her word for it, do we? That's red meat to a skeptic, unfortunately. Surprise, surprise, the interviewer didn't ask her why that was. Well, I would. Honestly, I'm a UFO believer, and I would say, can't we see this? Strange enough, the interviewer was taking the subject seriously. However, the lady went on to mention little green men, which is a proper cringe, of course. Something's not right about this UFO coverage. From what you've told me about this particular video, it doesn't sound very impressive. But GB News actually are taking, like RT, they're taking an open mind on this, which is good. They're taking a very good line on the UFO issue, at least comparatively good. Same video, Darren Retro. Ben, in my opinion, this is a massive distraction tactic. In the news this week, we've had the Nord Stream explosion implicating Biden, Epstein's list being made public by a court, massive environmental disaster in Ohio, all massive news being ignored by the MSM. Darren, there's 100 things that people have suggested could have been the motivation for putting in a distraction, including all the ones you've mentioned. However, as I said to Jamnoy72, this is not a typical distraction story. A typical distraction story is one that is very scandalous and causes shock and outrage and fascination, but is at the same time very prosaic and conventional. It doesn't make you... a distraction story is not the sort of thing that will make people basically open their minds into other areas. It's a good distraction story targets the population with something that will make people channel their minds into a narrower corridor of information, if you know what I mean. I don't know how well I'm explaining this, but a good example is the fact that during the hearings on 7/7, News of the World published there was this scandalous story about a paparazzi photographer getting a shot of Kate Middleton bathing topless. So basically we have the Duchess of Cambridge in a swimming pool flashing her norks. And he happened to be there to get good shots of them with his telephoto lens. And apparently News of the World wanted to publish these, and there was a big fuss about it. That is a distraction story. It's something that is it drags people into the conventional, into the insipid, into the quotidian. It doesn't sort of, it drags them into a situation where they start thinking outside where they're supposed to be thinking. A UFO story does, you see. So if this was going to be a distraction story, it wouldn't be about UFOs. Darren Retro said underneath, says, by the way, I seriously doubt this is UFOs. Look up the Pentagon releasing spy balloons over the US. Besides, UFOs probably wouldn't be so easy to just shoot down, considering they would have traveled many light years away. Well, the second bit is more than I know. I mean, I know that UFOs have been shot down. Very rare, but it has happened. even assuming the shoot down story was true, we don't even know do we know the shooting down wasn't just a ruse to cover something else, maybe forcing a landing or even a willing landing. We don't know that. Secondly, yes, the Pentagon releases spy balloons over the US for the purposes of testing. However, the thing is, there's ways and means of testing these balloons without, flying them over unauthorized areas in the North American subarctic and causing a political scandal. So I don't think it could be that either. I don't know that it's aliens, Darren. I'm struggling to think of something else that fits the evidence. Darren says underneath again, but I agree the whole episode is fascinating, and to a fully signed up UFO believer, I understand your enthusiasm. Keep up the good work. Great content. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, I mean, as you know, I was a bit obsessed with this for a few days. And I admit that. But the problem is I am trying to be objective here. I really am. Keith Smith says on UFO Disclosure 2023, Week of the Objects, where is the disclosure? Well, maybe it's happening, Keith. Maybe the white hats are controlling the situation, in which case it's coming. I don't know that, but I hope that. GSR says, we don't need an official body to disclose anything. We do, I think, if we're going to end the truth embargo. When was the last time you believed anything your government told you? They're out there. We know that. Job done. Well, all right, Pat, I make this point in Roswell Rising. That's my book, Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure. Available at all good bookshops now, £10. In this novel, as you know, I make this point. There's a discussion between two of the characters, and one of them just says basically what you say, which is, what does it matter what they think? Things either are or they aren't. We don't need a government stamp of approval to define reality. And the other character says, yeah, maybe it is part of the fact that the government is a kind of Freudian father figure. In other words, it's something archetypal. That's a Jungian concept, but it's still Freudian. Therefore, it is that kind of acknowledgement from the state is important. And the reason I think it's important is because it would be, if it was genuine, if it wasn't, I mean, someone else was saying how it's fake disclosure. What was it? In fact, you said this. When's the last time you believed anything your government told you? If it's real disclosure and not fake, then it's a finish line moment for the New World Order, I believe. Although, of course, if you read the book, you'll know that the Illuminati don't give up, and they try to undo the disclosure, get the genie back in the bottle, as you know, if you read that book. Keith says here, I was asking Ben, where is his disclosure? Well, I don't have any to hand right now. I'm doing what I can by revealing to you the information I have on UFOs. That's the closest I can get to it. I was actually the first ufological journalist to break the story of the Pentuch UFO. I've been overtaken by others since then, but I was the original researcher. Well, not the original researcher. I was the original publicist on that. David Smith says to Keith, they said they were unknown objects, which really means aliens. Well, not necessarily, David. It might. I mean, if it's not aliens, then what is it? If it is something else, then what is it? And why don't they just lie to us? Why don't they just tell us it's balloons or drones or something? I mean, why suddenly are they so desperate to say, well, we have to call them objects. We can't call them anything else. Obviously, so yeah, they don't need to disclose anything. We decide when disclosure happens, so we can never be wrong. No, we can be wrong. And indeed, we don't decide that. We are part of the infernal triangle of the state, the people, and the extraterrestrials themselves. We're one corner of that triangle. But we can't, until at least one other corner joins us, we can't do anything. Like I said, two corners of the triangle is disclosure. One corner is not. So even like I said, even if the government is that one corner, it doesn't mean disclosure. It's to do with the people believing it and what the people accept as real. And if the government just say aliens are real, I'm not going to believe them straight away. you know, GSR's right. We have they've lied to us before. Fake disclosure is probably going to be the first disclosure. As you know from Roswell Rising, that actually happens in Roswell Rising. David Smith finishes with the government always lies except when they tell us about disclosure. Wait, well, David, maybe I should have just read to the end of your comment there, because I've just explained that's actually, in your sarcasm, you're actually correct. We shouldn't just automatically believe them. Jamnoy72 says to GSR, how do you know that? Have you traveled the depths of space? You say they don't need to disclose anything, yet here they are doing just that. All information we have had on this subject, we've ever had over this subject, has come from official bodies. Job done? What job? There is zero proof of anything here. Well, of course, people have had information through not just from official bodies. I mean, there has, in fact, the best contributors to our knowledge of UFO are civilian ufologists, which is why I think Luis Elizondo has decided to become one. He's not the first. We believe that the government has decisive physical evidence, and I'm pretty sure of that. They haven't revealed it. The combination of those two things would fill in two parts of the triangle, you see, two corners of the triangle. The ideal would be to have all three parts of the triangle acting together. So you'd have official government pronouncement, evidence confirmed by the people, and some kind of show from the extraterrestrials. But the extraterrestrials are ET. They're an unknown factor. We can't anthropomorphize them and put ourselves in their shoes, even if they have 2 feet. And Matt Marksy says, who's the chap with the long hair and the glasses? I said Styx Hexenhammer. I'm sorry I didn't introduce him properly and give you a proper... It's Styx Hexenhammer 666. UFO Disclosure 2023 Week of the Object. That last comment was on Canada. This one is a Week of the Object. Stephen Truthseeker. The Yukon in Canada has very strange goings on even without this, as does Alaska. Well, yeah, Stephen, it's quite a regular Bigfoot sighting location. In Alaska, there's actually a type of Bigfoot called a Nantinak, which is actually very aggressive. It's different to the other Bigfoots. In fact, there's even a town on the Alaskan coast, which was in the 19th century, was very prosperous. It was abandoned in the early 20th century because of the Nantinak. Right, Week of the Objects, Jack Parker. I keep saying on different sides, me and co-worker while digging a trench tendency to look up could be. Jack, you need to use punctuation, mate. I don't understand that. But I seemed to have sensory notice to catch it and look at it. Oh, are you talking about a UFO sighting now? Moving across the sky, presumed weather balloon, but immediately no way. Moving too fast, street level flight path as if propelled, maintaining speed. All right, I understand you a little bit, and you say you're describing a UFO sighting. That sounds interesting. I mean, not a weather balloon. Did you have any photographs or anything, or maybe the independent witness? Oh, thanks, Jack. Same video, Jack Parker again. Whatever we were seeing appeared to be maybe 1,000 feet up just one day. All right, cheers. Jack Parker tends to do this. He leaves a lot of comments here in a row. Jack says here on the same video, he's a UFO skeptic. As I was seeing it, I was saying to him, weather balloon, no, we know that's not it. Look how it's moving. All right, I get you, yeah. He was stifled and agreed and tried to brush it off, but somehow couldn't. And then we went into discussion on that it was probably a reality and we should just keep working. I've been hammering the other co-workers with my usual barrage of inundation. Jack, that's difficult. When you're working with a bunch of skeptics, that's difficult, because I had this with the porters. I did. They can't shake off belief. As I maintain a steady demeanor through their attempted laughs, they pull them to the fore of reality. Well done for maintaining that steady demeanor, Jack. It's a very difficult thing to press a point which you know is real and other people don't believe, especially like if it's a close-knit working community like hospital portering. That's very difficult indeed. Jack says here, funniest part is when I invite them to have a look. They say no with clear indication of real nervousness. I can call one for you. They run from my words, my discussion, I say. Well, let me know when you're ready. We can get this discussion out of the way. You know, that's rather like, Jack, that's rather like that scene from... That's that scene in Planet of the Apes with the paper dart. And one of the apes says to the other, this is the one that Charlton Heston's human character has just been demonstrating. You fold a piece of paper, you throw it, and it flies. And one of the apes witnesses this and says, look, it flies, it flies. And she hands it to this other ape, and he says, look, it flies. And he screws it up and says, nonsense. He just screws it up. Now that is a skeptic in a word, isn't it? The skeptic, the most rational skeptic, is the one who just screws up the paper dart and says nonsense. Yet, to me, the most rational thing to do would be to test the claim. If I was, to me, a real skeptic, according to the way they define themselves, when the ape says to me, it flies, it flies, it flies, look. Does it? Oh, let me just try it. Oh, my goodness, it does. Or otherwise, no, it doesn't. That, to me, is the ultimate rationality. You know, most people don't agree. Most skeptics say, no, the most rational thing is to screw it up and just... It's like these people, the most rational person is the one who looks at these videos, these UFO videos, and said, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to take one more moment looking at these. I know it's not aliens. Someone like Mick West, who just says, he looks at it and says, no, it's not aliens, after studying it carefully, I respect that person a lot more. Anyway, Jack says here, a very important question. How dumb the F are they? They're bringing up the possibility in words of alien craft and have the wherewithal and stupidity to actually shoot them down as they're considering this possibility. Very good question. Very important question, Jack. I don't know. If indeed the shoot down story is true, I don't know. Alien craft unmanned score survey. If we shoot enough of them down with savage stupidity, we'll be allowed to blow ourselves up with nuclear war pending. Oh, right. I hope that's not what they're planning. I really do. Lick Huron, Mac Addict 73. Dude, is that you breathing? It was. I moved the microphone out the way, didn't I? I'm just going to check that the microphone's actually working now. I'm getting paranoid about this. Audio, is it working? Yes, it is. Good. All right. Steve Mumbling says here, this is a link. I think this is probably his video about something. This is probably one of his videos. Let's have a look.
Well, the U.S. military says it's recovered electronics parts from the suspected Chinese...
All right, let's just have a look at this. Hang on. Right, Steve, where was this? Here we go. This is BBC. Let's have a look.
Surveillance military says it's recovered electronics parts from the suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that it shot down earlier this month. Officials believe they could be helpful in determining the exact purpose of the structure. Beijing said it was a platform to monitor the weather. The search is continuing for the wreckage of 3 other objects shot down last weekend that have so far not been identified. Here's our North America correspondent, Peter Bowes.
The salvage operation...
Oh, I've seen this. This is actually footage of the salvage operation of the... This is off the coast of South Carolina. This is the balloon that they shot down. They popped it with a missile on live TV, I remember.
Retrieve the balloon shot down by the US military earlier this month. These new images show it being dragged onto a boat off South Carolina. US officials said it was being used by China to monitor sensitive military sites, but Beijing insisted it was a weather platform that had blown off course. Investigators say a closer examination of electronic devices attached to the balloon should reveal more about what it was doing. But there are no such clues to the identity of the 3 additional objects that were brought down in Canada and the US states of Alaska and Michigan between last Friday and Sunday. They were much smaller, with one being described as having an octagonal shape with strings hanging off it. No, says the White House, it's not what you're thinking.
Seen that.
There have been questions.
Senior US but why was it necessary to shoot the objects out? Laughter from the White House.
Yeah, I've seen that bit, Steve.
Press corps, but why was it necessary to shoot the objects out of the sky? Senior US government officials say they pose no danger to people on the ground, but they could have been a threat to civilian aircraft.
All right, Steve,
And
is
there's
this...
a chance they too could have been
Any of these three
closely, and that may exclude countries in 5 continents. China says US balloon flights have passed through its airspace.
All right, Steve, there's... Okay, I'm familiar with this information. Right, I don't quite understand you posting me that link. It's not actually given. It's nothing new there. Nothing new at all. All right, Neil Duran says something big is happening in Ohio, USA, and there was a complete media blackout on the story. Well, there's been a horrific train crash which has resulted in a massive environmental disaster. But toxic chemicals have been pouring into the environment, into the water, into the air. They've been into the water. The government have been trying to burn them, and this has just created more poison gas. There we are now. What's this?
head and shoulders.
Okay, this is a the largest natural disaster. Yep, there's
Last year left us struggling to.
Yep, this is. I know about this. This essentially is rather. This has been described as America's Chernobyl, and it could well be it. It's pretty awful, isn't it? TK says on. Hang on, I've come off screen share. Yeah. TK says hospital porters against using the BBC as an info source. TK, I get it. Look, I'm not going to the big black cock and saying, please, what's really going on? What's really going on, guys? Tell me. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying. I just want to know what they have to say. That's all. I just want to know what I have to say. Okay, I'm just going to reply to a text message there. That's all it is. Okay. I'm just going to take a little break now. Yeah, well, I'm interested to see what the BBC have to say. I just want to know how they're lying to us and how they're portraying certain things. This is why I do check out the BBC. I'm not using them as a source of information. I mean, I do sometimes think you guys are trying to impose on me a regime of ideological purity, which I think is the wrong way to go about things. TK says on the same video. Oh, Jam Noise says lol underneath that. Now using Wikipedia, BBC and Wiki. Wiki basically says you are just crazy regarding aliens and ghosts and free energy. So why are you reading that? The BBC says it's not aliens. So that's that then. Why did someone say objects? Where is it? There we go. Why did she say objects? Must be aliens. You used to do things like dignity statements. Where's the dignity in clinging onto its aliens when the object was reported to the pilots who shot it down to be floating in the wind? Hang on, who said? Why are you putting words in my mouth, TK? You made a lot of points here. Now, when you say to Wikipedia and things, I repeat the same point I made to the BBC. Wikipedia has information, some of which is useful, even if some of it is not true. Just because I go, dates, times, things like that, it's always useful to go to Wikipedia for things like that when it comes to aliens, ghosts, and free energy. That's why I read it. The BBC says it's not aliens. The BBC hasn't actually said it's not aliens. The BBC's repeated Karine Jean-Pierre and Biden saying it's not aliens. Yeah, but they've also repeated General Van Herk and John Kirby saying they can't rule anything out, and they refuse to identify it. So why did she say objects must be aliens? So then you say, where is the dignity in clinging on to its aliens when the object was reported to be floating in the wind? Firstly, aliens do float in the wind sometimes, and besides, they said it was. But they say floating in the wind, it was moving in the direction of the wind. That doesn't necessarily mean it was floating in the wind. Secondly, if it's floating in the wind, why won't they just tell us it's a balloon or lie to us and say it's a balloon? Thirdly, when you say clinging onto its aliens, you are marginalizing me, TK. You are taking words which I never said, and you are crowbarring them into my mouth in order to portray me in a false manner, and I resent that. Okay, you misquoting me to make me think to make it look like I'm something I'm not. Right, Caroline McGreal says on the same video, thank you, Ben, for sharing. But ask yourself this: why would they, Big C, use balloons? Why would they, Big C? That is I think you mean the Chinese Communist Party. use balloons to spy on Americans when there's supposed satellites in space that can do their job. That's what I thought, yeah. I actually thought I mentioned that in one of the videos, Catherine. Maybe they, the rulers of this fallen world, have been lying to us about satellites and what satellites really are. Well, they keep the capabilities of satellites secret, Caroline. But it's well known through various sources that satellites are capable of reading their headline in a newspaper from 200 miles up in space. Seems maybe they think we can't put two and two together. Well, they're trying to stop us doing that. They want in true Orwellian style, Caroline, they want us to put two and two together and make 5. And there's some quotes here. Quote, level Earth observer or celebrate truth or testing the globe. These might help you on this YouTube platform. All right. Caroline, I don't quite understand the last paragraph, that sentence there. I personally believe the Earth is round. So I don't quite get you there. Anyway, Brian Blessed. Oh my God, goodness me. Gordon's alive? What a great actor. What a voice. UFO Disclosure 2023, Week of the Objects. They use the term object as it stands for. I'm not going to try and imitate your voice, Brian. No, that would be an insult. No one can do your voice, only you can. They use the term object as it stands for unidentified flying object. A term used for some time, Ben. I know, yeah. But, yes, I know. I don't dispute that, yeah. Brian, they've even actually said that they've even used the term UFO officially in the media now. And also entirely accurate in this case. It may be a form of drone that is unknown to US intelligence. It may be, yes. But that is pure speculation. Thing is, if it is a type of drone that's unknown to US intelligence, then it would have to be a type of drone that's so different they can't even give it a designation. So it doesn't fit into the categories I mentioned in the video. That is airplane, helicopter, aerostat, which are unmanned. Basically, a drone is an unmanned version of those 3. Which is strange because then they describe its basic description. They give it as they say it looks like its shape and its size and things like that. And then they just say it's an object rather than, why don't they just lie to us? Just say it's a balloon or something. However, still more likely than an alien craft, which is synonymous with UFO. I don't think it is more likely, actually, Brian, for reasons I've explained. It doesn't fit the evidence. This doesn't mean it's definitely aliens. I'm not saying it's definitely aliens. TK tried to make that out, make out that I said that when I didn't. But if it's not, then what is it? How do you explain this weird behavior on their part? It's almost like surrealism watching the news. An alien craft, it's still more likely than an alien craft, which is synonymous with UFO. Yeah, it is, despite the fact that it shouldn't be really. Despite the vast majority of UFO cases being subsequently identified, they were still on first observation classified as an object. Yeah, they were indeed. Or maybe that's like a winged humanoid, it's like, so I don't want to take a mickey. I mean, I don't know if you're the real Brian Blessed, but Brian Blessed's character in the Flash Gordon movie was a man. It looked like a man but had wings sprouting from his shoulder, a winged humanoid. Now, believe it or not, people actually see those things. I've actually explained. I did a video called Angel of the Outer Limits, where I describe that kind of situation. I've done several videos about winged humanoids, actually. So subsequently identified, they were still on first observation classified as an object. Possibly, yes, but you see, the thing is, you can classify as an object, but then with visuals, with several days of visual identification, every sensor NORAD had, and you still call it an object and tell the public without lying to them, something weird is going on here. You say no grand conspiracy in the terminology, but more to differentiate to the media masses, these are not balloons. No, I think there is something weird going on here, but more to differentiate to the media masses, these are not balloons, like the recent balloon shot down, which could be a complete coincidence or related. I think it's probably a coincidence, although it's possible that, in fact, they've actually said that the NORAD actually changed its they changed like the frequency and detection capabilities of their sensors, which may mean they wouldn't normally have detected these objects until unless it had been for that balloon going over. Because NORAD didn't detect the balloon until it was over Montana. No, sorry, they did detect it over Alaska, but then it was quiet over Montana. So it may not be a complete coincidence. See, coincidences do happen, Brian. I do. I just don't believe, like the skeptics do, that we should just apply coincidence to every single damn thing that comes about. He says, or a UAP, which may or may not be a tangible object, having no case of any being shot down. Yeah, I mean, a UAP is just another way of saying UFO, unidentified aerial phenomena, which is just synonyms for unidentified flying objects, really. There are cases of UFOs coming to grief on the Earth's surface, sometimes through human action. It's actually very rare. They can crash of their own accord, and it's possible this happened now, and the whole shoot down story is a lie. The whole they say the shooting down part might be a lie. Anyway, it's an interesting comment you put here, Brian. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I don't know if you're the real Brian Blessed, but even if you're not, thanks very much. UFO disclosure, Bernie Tucker. Ben, if the USA have been aware of these balloons, spying them on them for years, why are they reacting like that? Yeah, yes. And in fact, I put a text comment because I just at the very moment I saw your comment, I've been having a debate with Graham, the famous Graham, the token skeptic from the East Anglia group. And we've been discussing that very question. Yes, Bernie, exactly. Now we have on Lake Huron press conference, Snarnock, no mention of North Korea being a possible source for these objects. And I put underneath in text, not yet. Don't give them ideas. Then I advertised, I put my own comment on there, advertising my HPANWO show on HPANWO Radio. In fact, if you want to know more, guys, here we go. There is actually a kind of sequel to this, but it's on HPANWO Radio. It's here. Program 495, A Week in Exopolitics. There's the URL. You can find it on HPANWO Radio. Oh, actually, where's the podcast? Hang on, that's actually the show notice. Podcast is here. So there it is. This is the one to go for, the podcast notice. And there's the URL. Okay, guys. And I add some more information there. Okay. And same video. Oh, we have same video. Yeah, this is no, this is Week of the Objects, Jam Noise. Oh, bro, you're so giddy with excitement. I want all this to be true for you, but I doubt all of this, to be honest. P.S. Your secret is safe with me, and I hope mine is with you. Yeah, Jam Noise. It may not be true. I appreciate that. I was giddy with excitement, and I don't know what the answer is. Despite my excitement, I'm not emotionally committed to it being an alien. I really am not. I'm not emotionally committed to that at all. And yes, our secrets are safe with each other, aren't they? Yes. Right. John with the Wind says COVID, Ukraine, cost of living crisis, UFOs. Yes. A weird succession of events, isn't it, John? Yes, John with the Wind. Week of the Object, Spaceman 87186. Ben, the amount of tech we have on fighter jets these days, and they can't see the difference between a balloon, drone, and other known craft, even at low light level. Okay, yeah. Well, they were tracking these things for so long, they were tracking them in daylight as well. So, it's really odd. David Smith says here, saying something unknown is aliens is like seeing a murder victim and suggesting aliens did it. I know. Is anyone saying otherwise? Could it be true? Sure, it is likely. Is it likely? No. That's the difference. You can't seem to understand. David, if you are going to misrepresent me like this, right? I'm going to. I can't read out your comments if you're going to misrepresent me like this. That's the difference you can't seem to understand. Saying something unknown is aliens is like seeing a murder victim and suggesting aliens did it. Could it be true? Sure. Is it likely? No. You see, you are doing exactly the same thing that TK did. You're essentially saying, because I won't rule out aliens, I'm essentially saying it definitely is aliens. Are you actually listening to a word I say, David? He carries on. It's possible for anyone to launch a balloon, make it a certain shape, etc. Why? Yes, and then but it's still obviously a balloon. I mean, it'll look like a balloon. It'll give a radar return like a balloon. It'll have a signature management of a balloon. I mean, it's. Yes. Why is it you say you believe the news when it suits you, but then cry foul when they go against your beliefs? I haven't said that. I've just told you I'm not believing the news. I've explained why I use the news as reference. There's no consistency or rationale to what you seem to accept on these subjects, Ben. If the news say they shot down a UFO, then it must be true. When they say it's probably not aliens, suddenly it's all a cover-up. If you listen to what I actually say, David, and actually listen to my words rather than the imaginary statements you crowbar into my mouth, which is what you are doing, you'll understand there is a consistency and rationale to it. And the guy in Alaska has no idea what military equipment support is being used for retrieval. So to say it's too much is yet more claims. That's correct. We're speculating, but for something the size of a car lying on ice, and to have for several days, you get strange objects. You get a huge amount of military activity. It makes you wonder. Look, we're asking for information. If anyone knows, if anyone knows about ice retrieval, then get in touch. So to say it's too much, you get more claims. That's all I see with this. Well, that's because you're not listening to what I'm actually saying. The usual claims and denial of anything that goes against the beliefs beforehand, that it must be something to do with aliens. Again, who are you talking about? Not me. I really do hope it is aliens. I really do hope you get your disclosure. And I really do hope your channel blows up in a good way when that happens. Well, thank you, David. The last sentence is the only one I actually agree with and I actually think is the least bit accurate. And on my position. Tessa41 says Jeffrey Epstein is flying those UFOs. Who knew? Well, those UFOs don't fly themselves, do they? Tessa says here, poor military, stuck with digital, can't detect analog. Okay, now we have a new video. Notice of Old Tech exclusive Oxford World Government Celebration. Nothing as it seems. First this time, yeah. Al Gore launched the bowling ball down the alley. This is him again. I voted for Ralph Nader. His agenda was righteous and true since circa 2000 when the Green Party had Cynthia McKinney. Dark Corner says, congratulations. I've met Cynthia McKinney. Yeah, she was at AV 2 or 4. I can't remember. But I don't know much about American domestic politics, I'm afraid. I'm only really as a sort of executive foreign perspective. All right, so we have now Keith Smith on Notice of Alt Tech exclusive Oxford World Government Celebration. Ben is a leading fighter in the war against the New World Order. Yeah, Tony Blair, George Soros, and Al Gore are quaking in their boots. I salute him. I thank you, Keith. They certainly are. They certainly are. Steve Mumbling has a link here. What's this? Oh, blimey, it's ads. Hang on, let me just share screen. Where is it? Here we go.
And other scientific measurements that they might be taking on that particular
The
balloon
13
itself.
million,
now, of course,
$13 ham
again,
radio.
the purpose of these balloons is nothing sinister. It's to conduct experiments and to collect.
Hang on, this is for 10 minutes long. I'm not watching all of this. Have you ever heard of the ham radio balloon causing a major expense for the US military? In this video, we'll explore the surprising story of how a $13 ham radio balloon has potentially led to a major expense to the US military. How do you know that, Steve? How do you know this is accurate? I'll watch that, but we have to explain how does he know that, and when Nora don't, and why don't they just say it's a balloon? Crafty Nihilist. We rocked Oxford. Yeah, same. This is on the Old Tech exclusive. The last one was a week of the objects, and I said, "Didn't we, Jess? Thanks for being there." And this is the same video. Jam Noise. Thanks, bro. And I say, "You're welcome, sis." Woody Black says, "The Dark Lord." Oh, you must be referring to the guy dressed up as Schwab. Yeah, that was really good, wasn't it? New video, Oxford Graffiti 2. Diego Rivera. Are you Banksy, Ben? No, oops, that's the end of an hour. No, I am not. But then Banksy would say that, wouldn't he? No, as David says here, but Banksy would say that. But you flatter me. I can write, I can do pictures with words, but in no other way. Anyway, on to hour number 4. Right, on to hour number 4. And this is going to be a surprisingly long video, considering it's only about 2 weeks since the last comment reply video. And we've got an Alt Tech exclusive to come. I'm nearly through with YouTube now. Oxford Graffiti 3. Graffiti, not my thing, Ben. Okay, well, fair enough, Caroline. It's not everyone's thing. I mean, I only admire like the really posh graffiti kind of thing. The Lights Were Low says, "Oh, this is Bedouin 40. This is an old one. This is. In fact, this is almost 10 years old." Hey, Ben, good video. I just noticed that one of the comments on here is from someone who claimed they were there that night as a soldier. Did you follow this up? I always think that line, what Larry Warren, there are plenty of military out there who are prepared to talk about these incidents, and therefore it's worth appealing to them each time we discuss. Penturk is probably another case where maybe someone out there, someone now out of service, could clear up what they were doing there on the day. I appreciate the official secrets acts, but I still think there might be people out there who want to help. Just saying. Right, I'd like to see that comment again. I mean, I get notifications for all comments, so I must have got a notification. I must have watched it. I'll go back and look at it again, though. Lights Were Low. Let's just have a look at the video, if I can. Hang on, I will just have to do the usual and go to. Let's have a look. Bedouin 40. Let's take it. This is on the YouTube version. Bedouin 40. Here we go. Right. It's because it's, of course, I've backed it up on all my platforms now. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, you can look at these comments yourself, guys. A lot of them are quite old.
Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.
That's me. That's me. 9 years ago. It's actually nearly 10 years ago now. Because it will be 10 years ago. Actually, it's 9 years ago. Just over 9 years ago. This is the one Lights Were Low was saying, and there's my reply. Let's have a look. There's a lot of comments on here. Oh, here we go. This is someone called Fanny Akin. This is 3 years ago. What bullshit. I was on the mountain on the night of 1974. I'm 68 this year. One of the soldiers reported to be on the crash site. I know about the Orange Light scene. Nobody wants to listen to what I have to say about that night. After all these years, I would like to report what really happened that night. Peter. Okay. And I actually answered him there, didn't I? I actually answered him. Right. Okay. I'm happy to listen to you, Peter, if you are who you say you were. And, well, I don't know what you mean by what bullshit. I mean, what did we say that was wrong? What did you say that you were wrong? You may not know everything. Just because you actually were on there that night doesn't mean you know everything that went on. You know what you had to do for your own job. Just like when I was a hospital porter, I knew what I had to do for my own job within the NHS. Doesn't mean I knew what was going on throughout the entire hospital. In the same way, it's possible that there are many ufologists who have detected maybe information you're not familiar with. Maybe you should familiarize with it. Familiarize yourself with it. Presumably, I've had this conversation with you 3 years ago. So, Peter, get in touch if you're. I'm sure I would not have ignored a comment like that. I really wouldn't. So I don't know exactly where this led to. I can't remember, but you know, the Lights Were Low. You're quite right to bring that to my attention. And if you do have information the rest of us need to know, because someone actually at the location probably would have some information that the rest of us don't have. In the same way that we have information probably you, Peter, don't have. So please do get in touch. We're not talking bullshit. There's no bullshit going on here. The bullshit is the people like Annie Roberts and that they talk. Jeff Sperry. Oh, let me just go back to stop share screen sharing. Jeff Sperry says on Oxford Graffiti 3, I keep thinking to myself they must be spending a fortune on spray cans, but do admire their artistry, as I remember in my younger days when the only thing I could do was spray my football club on the walls. Yeah, well, you know, they do have spray cans, but they also use paintbrushes and stencils and things like that. I've watched them create some of these murals. I have. Same video, glow tone. Interesting. Thanks for sharing. What sort of span does this video? What sort of time span does this video cover? Does the graffiti under the bridge change weekly or monthly, etc.? It covers the time span basically from July last year when I posted the last video in this series. It's basically there's been, as you see, I cover about 2 or 3 generations of graffiti. So it's every few months they change it usually. Although the Catwoman mural only lasted a couple of weeks, and they've already obliterated it to produce something else. Anthony Peake, and this is Glowtone again. Thanks for another interesting reportage. Are you still working on your spy novel you spoke about a while ago? I ask because I wondered if you've ever seen a British TV series about espionage and secret intelligence from the late 70s called The Sandbaggers. Its creator and writer Ian McIntosh was a British naval officer who went on to become a writer of novels and TV series. He mysteriously disappeared in Alaska in a plane crash, although no wreckage was ever found of it. It was unclear why he was in that area at the time. His brother later wrote a book about it. I've heard of the Sandbaggers. Yes, I even remember watching it as a kid and making a joke about what sandbaggers meant when I was a little kid. But I didn't know that happened to the writer and the mystery about his brother. See, a lot of these people who write spy stories are actually people like Frederick Forsyth, actually know real intelligence officers. That's what's interesting about it. Now, as far as my own novel about spying, yes, it's actually a serial, and you can read it. It's on Ben's bookcase. Anyone wants to read it, here it is. Okay, this is the latest chapter that I've uploaded. I've posted, rather. There it is, The Obscurity Chronicles, Chapter 6. Chapter 7 shouldn't be long, actually. And there's the URL. It's actually an online. I'm not going to publish it as a book now. It's going to be an online serial. So there you go. I don't have the patience to write a novel of that length anymore, I'm afraid. It's just I may publish it as a book at some point, but right now I don't have that kind of patience. Just checking that works. Let's have a look. I've just downloaded the from StreamYard part 3. Just check it. I don't think it could be that. Yes, it works. Yes, it works. Okay. Right. King Edge says, Ben is Banksy. I'm not going to play this down, am I? I'm not going to play it down. I'm not going to. But I'm not Banksy. I'm not. No. Banksy actually is. I think people know who Banksy is. I wish I could draw like that. I can write. Oxford Graffiti 3 Jam Noise 72. So creative. Love it. Bro, where is the mumbling video? I can't wait to comment on it. Jam Noise. It won't be long. I've actually just been talking to Neil about it. It won't be long at all. It won't be long at all. Jam Noise. Ben is Banksy. Jam Noise says I'm Banksy too. Okay, so that's all. That is YouTube done. I'm now going to go to BitChute. Now on BitChute, I'm actually going to go through my comments that I'm going to go through my upload since the last comments reply video first, and then I'm going to go to the notifications because I have an alt tech exclusive. Right, what we got here? Okay, Costa del Art Pool. That's an interesting Artley Pool. Costa del Artley Pool. All right. Says here, regarding the bit where you told Charles Hospital Porter's Pride to go out and meet some women, forget dating sites and pubs, etc. Get a dog. And every woman dog owner wants to talk to you. Charles will be beating them off with a shit bag. Good one, mate. Do you know what? That's actually true. Funny enough, Morgoth's review actually said something about that. Morgoth, I always find very, very enlightening, and he actually said something exactly like that. I think it was on one of his Substack articles. And yeah, I do meet some ladies when I'm walking dogs, and some of them I do flirt a bit, but most of them are married. But there you go. But that's a good idea. Yes, indeed. Right, Anthony Peake on BitChute. No comments. Yeah, no comments there. Newest, oldest, popular. No, there's none. Alaska UFO. We've got some comments here. Rex with 2 X's. Rex. UFO demons is getting prevalent sightings nowadays. Rapture is so close, so that Antichrist can repute deceive the world. When the rapture occurs to all true Christians, they will say aliens took Christians. Mark my word. I don't share your faith, Rex, but as you know, if you've watched my my apocalypse video, I'm very interested in all sides of this story. For anything I don't believe, and I get into trouble for not believing, I'll accept full responsibility. Free Mum Q says, hello. Hello, Free Mum Q. How are you? Thanks for commenting on the video. So, funny, whenever you bloody play automatically starts, so you always hear the video. I don't want play to go. Okay. Right, this is the Canada UFO. Dr. Crovid says... Right, hello, welcome. Let me just stop the play there. Dr. Crovid says, you're pretty good to even want to hear that for 3 hours or more per day. Let's hear the balloons chatted up as a nuke or another anthrax or SARS or alien false flag in the context of the whistleblower's assertion the Biden fraud is gonna systematically burn the USA section by section. Well, Dr. Crovid, if you watch the entire video, you'll know that I cover most of those things, particularly the prospect of a false flag or distraction, and also the alien false flag, and things like that. And of course, but Biden, who never said a word for a week. Yeah, I'm concerned about that. Lake Huron. No comments. UFO Disclosure 2023, Week of the Objects. That's some comments here. Right, WW245 says, I saw something 6 months ago with this. I know it was trash. Unsubbing. Oh, suit yourself then. I saw something 6 months ago with this. I know it was trash. Unsubbing. Right, well, go and watch someone else then. Woden says, like Hollywood celebrities leaving America if Trump wins. Yes, they're still there, aren't they? Madonna and all those others. I'm leaving America. Well, they're still there, aren't they, Woden? Yeah. Wone Moti says here, how stupid do they think people are? Oh, wait. There are still assholes wearing their magical dust masks and taking the you-know-what shots, thinking they are V words. Yes. And this is why, what's your name? Wone Moti, that if the white hats are in charge of the truth embargo now, they're not just going to suddenly have a press conference and say, UFOs, it's all real. They're not going to do that. They have to educate us, like the 17th letter. It's a dialogue. It's an educational process. Yeah. Interesting. Right. Now we have Oxford Freedom Protest Alt Tech exclusive. Now, this is one where you're going to get a lot of comments. Yep, there's loads on here. The Death Beats says, did Mariana Spring have that stupid peeved look on her face, the one she does when she's pretending to be concerned? No, she didn't, because her director wasn't there. The Death Beats also, yeah, they coach her for that. Like that thing, that sad sack look she had when she was on the screen, on the thumbnail for the panorama. She's someone she's like this. Like someone who's been into the darkest levels and been so perturbed by what she found there. Oh my God, that evil, nasty Richard D. Hall. He's so horrible. He's a nasty man. Oh, Death Beats also says here, oops, right. Sometimes the problem is because it's a peer-to-peer system, it sometimes takes like a couple of minutes for the video to even play. Oh my God, that insane woman giving David Curtin a hard time. Oh yes, misogynist, racist. How can people like that not understand that people like David are dedicated to saving us? And in this case, he's made the effort to show up in a city where he doesn't even live. What a legend he is. I don't think you can help people like that woman. No, God, no. She'll only be happy when she's stuck at home thanks to a climate lockdown whilst checking her social credit score as she takes a break from reading her rewritten Roald Dahl books. Oh, God, yeah. At the end, you bring up something that's really pissed me off. I'm working on a HPANWO Voice article about the Roald Dahl desecration. Yeah, that's right. You know, Death Beach, you've got her in a nutshell there, mate. You really have. And it's a saying, but you can't reach them all. Some men you just can't reach, or women. I don't like it any more than you, man. Death Beach also says here, hey, Death Beach is Gary, I think. Hey, my Ben, mate, there seems to be a lot of legacy media trashing of people's concerns regards to 15-minute cities right now. I know, I've seen it, bloody hell. Calling what they call us conspiracy theorists and far-right activists. Oh, God, marching in the streets. Most outlets claiming that the possibility of people being trapped in their allocated zone is a right-wing conspiracy theory. Yeah, they deny. They're saying they're giving details of how it works at the same time denying that there's any possibility of us being locked down. Apart from the fact that the powers that shouldn't be lie to us every time they open their mouths, I'd like to know exactly what is behind their drive to establish these 15-minute cities, considering that most people in the UK already live 5 to 10 minutes from work, school and shops, etc. It gives them the pretext of social control and transport control, yeah. It's simply there. It's what I've said before. They are rushing to get 50 years of New World Order reforms into half a decade because 2016 scared the shit out of them and they're panicking and they're rushing. And as a result, they make mistakes and they expose themselves. With that in mind, I can only assume they are hiding other aspects of the plan. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this in the first place, and they wouldn't be so desperate to play it down in the media. This is Gary Robinson, by the way. Cheers. I guess that, Gary, yes. Well, the thing is, they are not hiding as many aspects of the plan as they used to. They're now pretty coming out and saying, rather than hiding them, they're saying, we need them now. We need to build back better with something safe and effective. And we need to do it now. And if you don't want to go along with it, we'll put you in jail for a non-crime hate incident. Yeah. Nonny Raven says, I know Nonny Raven. How are you, Nonny Raven? I know you. I know who you are. Another fabulous reportage, Ben. Much appreciated by those of us who couldn't be there in person, but are with you in spirit. Thanks, Nonny Raven. Thank you. I know who you are. Yeah. That woman at the start calling you a misogynist and racist can't even begin to fathom her logic about being racist. Well, she doesn't have any logic. That's the thing, Nonny Raven. She was someone who had no argument and no desire to be original, and I was angry because she couldn't prove us wrong. So came out with something that's almost a cliche of a cliche and stormed off. But in regard to being misogynist, if you think about it, given the issue being discussed has nothing to do specifically with women. Nonny, you're being too logical here, right? Don't mess things up. You can't go messing with people's narratives with facts. We can only conclude that the implicit message is here. Anyone who doesn't agree with a woman is a bad person. Yeah, I think that's what she thinks. We'd be hard-pressed to find more idiotic and narcissistic comment. I don't know about that, Nonny Raven. We've both found plenty. She might as well have said she didn't have a reasonable, intelligent comeback and so was going to call you nasty names. That is kind of what she said without really wanting to say it. She was forced into saying that, you see. Lawrence12345 says, I don't know which is more surprising, that Wright said Fred didn't sing or that Ben wasn't asked to give a speech. Great reportage, all the same, many thanks. Yeah, someone else actually suggested that I should be a speaker. They didn't ask me and I didn't ask them. I mean, I'm sure I'd be happy to speak if they wanted me to. I spoke at the last one in Bond Square. Woden20 says, the tide is definitely turning. I won't be drinking in a cashless pub. Good stuff. Thank you, Woden. Well done, mate. Well done. Boycott them. Boycott the cashless things. Woden, Klaus the Nazi, pro-white, bringing the Volkswagen to the people. Well, he's not, though, is he? He's anti-white and he wants to get rid of cars. Pulling in crowds of 2 million and destroying the Rothschild banking system. Oh, maybe not, but he had a German accent. That'll do. Rosen, I think you're talking about someone else, aren't you? Another German gentleman who we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, are we? A very maligned and misunderstood individual, yes. Lisa Cry Freedom. Hello, Lisa. That woman at the start, ha ha. What a twat. Oh, that Klaus was brilliant, lol. Good job, Ben. Well done. Thanks, Lisa. Thank you very much. And DJ Zaxi says, freedom! And I say, yay, yes. Thanks for those comments, guys. A lot of comments on that Old Tech exclusive. Okay, so and finally, Oxford Graffiti 3. The Deathbeat says, Ben, mates. Right, okay. It's time you start leaving some HPANWO tags. Maybe I should. Yeah, I mean, I do for the comments reply videos. You know, maybe I should. If you think is BitChute only allow 3 tags, but maybe I should. Yes. Okay, that's BitChute done. Now we're going to move on to. Oh no, it's not BitChute done. I've got to go through the notifications, haven't I? Because I might have some comments on an old video, so I'll do that now. Blah de blah. Here we go. Okay, I missed some, didn't I? First going around, so I'll go very slowly this time. So I get notifications from my subs as well. Now, Katie Hopkins was there in Oxford. I never saw her, which is a shame because, you know, I would like to have spoken to her. She's an interesting lady. When Katie Hopkins first appeared in the media, I didn't like her. I think she was playing a role as a kind of stuck-up bitch, which she then abandoned and started speaking more openly. She was kind of on the counter-jihad Tommy Robinson kind of side for a while. But since then, she's really woken up. She's really woken up big time and become very aware. And I'd like to have met her. But unfortunately, well, it's easy to miss people in crowds, isn't it? And especially one of 5,000. Well, I'm guessing it was 5,000 because the BBC said it was 2,000, which means it must be at least 5,000 people there. There we go. Talking about the Rothschild banking system, I had a Facebook friend request and a message from someone calling themselves the Rothschild Illuminati. I replied, "Hail Eris." They replied, "Would you think of joining the Illuminati, brother?" And I said, "All hail Discordia. These are Robert Anton Wilson references." Of course, it's not the real Rothschild Illuminati. No, it's not at all. No, I don't think the real Illuminati have a Facebook page. Come on, guys. I'm nearly at the end now. I'm nearly at the end of my notifications. Now, Katie's really, I mean, Lisa plays lots of Katie Hopkins audios on her show. And I must say, you know, Katie's really with it. Okay, must be nearly at the end now. I mean, so this has been less time since the last. There we go. Right. Okay, so you know what I have to do? I've had no comments on older videos. So mark as read and delete all. There we go. Right. Okay. So on to Odyssey. Now, I've had no old video comments as far as I know last time I checked, because I do check that there's only like a 10-day notification system here on Odyssey, but I do check them and I haven't actually seen any 10-day notifications. So I'm now going to just simply go through. Whenever I see one from an old video, I always put it in the notes. I haven't had one this cycle. So I'll simply go to my channel and I will go through the videos I've uploaded since the last one. So reply to comment 70. And there's loads of bloody spam. No comments. I'm glad at it. Actually, I should. That's not a criticism. Odyssey has like ads, pains, and things because it's funding itself, which is good. After horrible. Right. No comments on the Anthony Peake one. Alaska UFO live stream.
Presented.
5 comments, right. Shelley of the Red, hey Shelley, how you doing? Lol, balloon killer medal. There's been loads of memes about that. Loads and loads of memes. Like there's the plane with the the 2 balloons and the UFO on the side. It's 3 UFOs now, isn't it? Don't have vid says, I'm hopping here and there. Now stopped to 123.20. Gonna get some noodles and beer. Don't go away. I won't. Don't have vids. I won't. Why won't that? Oh, hang on. I've got to put an extra. BitChute won't let you repeat a comment, even when it's a notification. On Rumble, it's even worse because you can't even. I've got to put in loads of stuff on there because they won't even let you bloody do it on the channel. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Don't have vids. Love your slant. Plumbers, sheet metal workers, road workers, technicians on your side. I'm glad. We now have Occam's razor for mainstream media. Sorry, Occam's razor for mainstream media mediocrity. It's quite a long comment here. Hi, Ben. Great stuff as usual. And quite precipitous timing, as I've recently been watching old videos in my collection, and a couple include Alaska and the Aleutians during World War II. All right, I'll check your channel out, mate. Let's have a look at it. I can't right click and paste. No, I'll have a look at it later. Right click and open. Right then, it would have been fairly simple to slap a D notice on the whole region by stopping sailings and downing the telephone radio broadcasts, all in the name of maintaining morale. So stuff the United States Constitution then. Well, that happens in wartime, doesn't it? Yeah. The weird thing is that there were probably no independent witnesses to this event, and that's weird, isn't it? With the interweb thingy and cell phones, a completely news embargo is far more difficult. It's not in a remote area, Occam's razor. I think the Lake Huron one will be, but the other 2 areas are virtually uninhabited. So rather than trying to plug all possible leaks, better for a totalitarian government and complicit and complacent mainstream media to attempt to control the narrative. That's true. Something they've been doing since Roswell and beyond. You literally have to go back to Roswell to find something that compares to this. When the government puts forth a general with more ribbons on his left tit than are handed out at a 3-day Herefordshire livestock competition. I always get the opinion that one is meant to ignore the official statement and its highly questionable content and zoom in on all that spaghetti and automatically assume this guy's a hero and can only be telling me the truth, even if every word is a lie. Well, not quite. Not least because as I've explained in the video, there's no reason for them to make something up here. They could easily lie. They could easily just omit everything. I don't think a D notice would be difficult in a remote area like that, even with modern technology, because modern technology needs people to be there to report on it. And the guy with the TikTok up in Alaska, and really, if it hadn't been for these news stories, his own reportage would have been fairly irrelevant, I think. I really began to believe this after 9/11. Though any kind of serious degradation of integrity among the high-ranking military probably goes back much further to Korea and Vietnam, if not further. Oh, much further, yeah. Try the USS Maine in 1898 during the Spanish-American War. Look at what happened to General MacArthur for the military who dares to say it like it is. General MacArthur, what happened to him? Yeah. Your Justine Castro had my coffee going down the wrong way. Justine castrated might have had me breaking out the spare keyboard. Well, I'm glad I amuse you, Occam's razor for mainstream mediocrity 0. Thank you. Shelley the Red says again, Styx purposely doesn't acknowledge the topic of aliens. He believes them, but feels. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to. There we go. But feels humans are so incredibly boring that chances of interaction are next to nil. The thing is, Shelley, that's his assumption. And I know he talks a lot about spiritual matters and the occult as well. And he's very interesting. He's obviously an intelligent chap. But he seems not to know much about the topic, quite frankly. And which is, I don't expect him to be an expert if he's not like me. I'm a UFO kind of anorak, and he's not. So obviously I'm going to know more than he does. But that's still not a reason to not to call him out on it. And hopefully he'll learn something from that. In fact, he did another video on UFOs I've yet to review. He did it a couple of years ago, and it's just sort of slipped my attention. Anyway, that's that particular video done. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Nice, healthy load of comments on that. Oops, hang on, there we are. Right, Canada UFO live stream. Oh shit! I haven't even started the bloody. Oh, sorry, I know how long it is. I haven't started the damn. I didn't start the damn timer. It's all right. I got the timer on the recorder. 2 comments on Canada UFO live stream. Shelley of the Red says, we know our past and current day. Nazis have all the wonder weapons at this point to pull off all sorts of nastiness. Well, look what they did on 9/11. Look at the way what did they do? They turned the tower to dust. As Dr. Judy Wood says, where did the towers go? Those weren't explosives, Shelley. Now, imagine you could scale up a weapon even bigger to take on a city, a country, a continent. God help us. Yeah. Shelley says, Styx isn't putting enough pieces together. No, he's not. He needs to pan out. I myself think this is one. This one is prelude to fake alien invasion. Myself, an early move for the globalists to use their wonder weapons and scheming for emergency power grab. Yeah, the last card. Yes, that is a possibility. Actual aliens coming in later once the globalists get their asses kicked and can't cover up our greater reality any further. Well, I hope it won't come. I hope we won't go that full circle, Shelley, because it would be very destructive. Most of us would die. I hope we can actually avoid that particular scenario as an end result of this. I mean, I know the New World Order is going to end. I just want it to end in the least destructive way possible. Thanks for the timely posts, Ben. Great feedback. That is important to hear and enjoyable. Well, thank you, Shelley. Thank you very much for posting. I appreciate your comments. I really do. Well done. And thanks for contacting me on YouTube as well. Lake Huron. No comments. Oxford Freedom. No, oh, sorry. UFO Disclosure 2023, Week of the Objects. Two comments. Israel Diego Rivera Genius 2, the real genius. He is here. Yes, I know him on Odyssey as well. The whole event seems to be media orchestrated. But by whom, Diego Rivera? And why is there this contradiction between the political executive and the military staff? Shelley of the Red says, cool video title. Thanks, Shelley. Much appreciated. There we go. Right, we're now on Oxford Freedom Protest. One comment. I'm surprised there are not more, because he's an old tech exclusive. PA. PA. He's called PA. Nice to see Vladimir Kitcho in the protest. 13 minutes, 30 seconds. Who's he then? Who's Vladimir Kitcho? Lots of police, very, very heavy police presence. So, you don't mean Mark, do you? You don't mean Mark Crafty. Oh, I've got an ad here. This video will soon be banned. Watch it before it is. I'll have to watch it later. Okay, Oxford Graffiti 3. No comments. No comments. Right, that's Odyssey done. On we go to Rumble. Now, I've got some old Rumble videos I want to go through first. So I've got YouTube recommendation change on Rumble. So I get notifications for them. Oh, no comments. I thought there was a comment. Maybe they've deleted it. Okay. Steiner Schools on Rumble. These are old videos. And I did put in text comments to these, actually. Grant Bennett 333 said, hide one reply. If I had my time all over again, I'd like to go to a Rudolf Steiner school. I think you'd be a lot better off, I think. I said here, because I hated school and I was happy when I left, but see, I went to a British State Comprehensive. Rudolf Steiner did a good 1917 lecture. It was actually recorded into a book. It was written down and recorded in a book. Very revealing when read by modern eyes. It addresses the reality of the cult and their plans for the future of the world. Grant Bennett says here. I have to add extra punctuation marks, because Rumble will only let me post one comment once on my entire channel. So that's the notifications out the window. Rudolf Steiner was far ahead of his time. This cult and those who rule them from the unseen have been here for many centuries, and this is not the first time they have played a part in the so-called reset. All of what we know of our history is deception. We come from a reality of pure freedom, oneness, and awareness. Since their creation, it has been their goal to disconnect us from ourselves and remove the knowledge of our past from our consciousness. They may have finally found the tool they need to cull the human race. Yeah, that's a very Steinian thing to say. And it's true. I mean, that's basically a summary of it. At the highest level, it is a spiritual battle. I can't really add much to that. Again, except, like I say in my Anthony Peake video, I say in my Anthony Peake video, I think there may, at the higher level, I think it may simply that God got bored. I don't know. Because God, what's the one thing God can't have? Becoming himself. He's divine, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. The one thing he can't have is to know, not to be that and become it, which is why I think he created us without that divine knowledge, so we could become us. I think God just got bored, you know. I'll say more about that. I actually talk a bit more about that in the Anthony Peake video, and I'll come back to that subject maybe when I do the What Dreams May Come read and watch party. You thought I'd forgotten about that, didn't you? Right, so that's it. That's Grant Bennett. Thank you, Grant Bennett, for those 3 comments. Much appreciated. That's Steiner Schools dealt with. We're now going to go on to shadow banned by YouTube. And we have here, that's bullshit. That's what it's called. That's bullshit. That's just what it's called. Okay, that's bullshit. Oh, I've used a comment before. Try that. Now I've used another dot. I've done that as well. Okay, another dot. Finally, 5 dots. Okay. You made me think of something I had not considered. The publisher side. That is to do with the publisher versus platform dichotomy of social media. How am I getting on for time? Since I didn't start there. 36 minutes. Yeah, plenty of time. I hope I'll finish within 4 hours. Meaning the folks that leave posts, we are also being shadow banned. The folks that leave posts, we are also being shadow banned. At least I think this is called shadow banning. If not, what's it called? What is it called? Example, I make a post or comment about World War II regarding Rosie the Riveter on YouTube. I see the post right in front of me. I think everyone else can see it. Now, if I go to a private window, visit the same page where I left my post, reorganize all of the comments from newest to oldest, and look for my post I just left the moments ago, it's not showing. Post meaning comment. It's 100% gone. Is that not shadow banning by definition? Should we define shadow banning as having 2 different types that exist? 1, from the publisher's side, as you elaborated in your video, or 2, from the poster's side or commenter? Just elaborated above in the example. What do you think? Very thought-provoking comment there. That's bullshit. Good name. I would define both types of the same, actually, whether you're posting a video or posting a comment, provided they are caused deliberately by the social media censorship policy. Excuse me. Got another cough coming on. Do you want me to stop making videos for a month? No. This is the censorship policy, whether it's an overt or covert censorship policy. Sometimes posts lack visibility, and this is caused by technical issues, especially when they're new. Now, this is obviously, keeps coming up on YouTube with Steve mumbling, "You've deleted my posts." Or Charles Scott, "You've deleted my posts. OLM, David Smith disguise, Chris Evans, Photoshop." You see what I mean? Now, if that's the case, it's not shadow banning. But sometimes a scorned mainstream media platform will disguise the former as the latter. Sometimes, it's got to be a little bit suspicious. You know what I mean? That's the sort of thing I mean. You get suspicious. Okay, so I need 6 dots after this. There we go. Right. comment. YouTube has been censoring me in this fashion. I'm quitting YouTube. I won't leave posts just for my own amusement. WTF. To me, that's almost as dirty and sneaky as you can get. Just imagine how many people think they're leaving a comment and they actually see it, yet nobody else on the planet can see it. Sneaky, censoring free speech. Like, that's about as evil can get because of the potential ramifications where all this will lead to eventually. This will cause war, death, misery, and mayhem. It's coming. It does not change. I agree. And it's a sign of a collapsing civilization or one heading towards tyranny. But again, if it's not a technical problem, check that it's a technical problem. If it's not, then I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you. So that shadow banned by YouTube done. I've now got Morgellons test. I put this one up on Daily Motion as well. I've got this is CC Raven says. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, semicolon 0. I have to keep different combinations of punctuation marks. Years ago, I kept feeling as if I had a hair or bug on my face. Couldn't see anything until finally the angle in the mirror revealed a long, clean hair. I grabbed it with the tweezers and pulled it out of my cheek. It was about 4 or 5 inches long. I didn't know about Morgellons at the time. There was not blood or anything. And it could have been an ingrowing hair or something. I don't know if you told the doctor. Now, I actually have I have something similar. I have a long, thin hair that grows out of my eyebrow. It's just about there, just above my eyebrow, and it grows out, and it keeps growing out. It's a very thin, fine hair. You can hardly see it, but I pull it out with a tweezer. I pull it out with tweezers, and like that every so often when it gets so long. And it grows back. It grows quite quickly. Like I have to do this every 2 months or so because it grows right down to there. Eventually it sort of starts getting in my eye. It may be something like that. That doesn't sound like Morgellons to me. It doesn't. And that's it. That's Rumble. No, I've got to go for the new videos, of course, on Rumble. Needless to say. And so we'll go down to reply to comment 70. No comments. Anthony Peake book launch. No comments. Alaska UFO live stream. No comments. Canada UFO live stream. No comments. The Lake Huron press conference live stream. Everyone's gone quiet. No comments. UFO disclosure 2023 week of the objects. No comments. Oxford Freedom protest, alt tech exclusive. All right. Ethel says here, thank you. It's Ethel 12345. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Ethel. You're welcome, Ethel. And not number 6. Good name, not number 6. That's a reference to the prisoner. That's it. Oh, good on you. Good, nice name. Says, oops, you're posting comments too fast. Oh, for fuck's sake, this is my own channel. Great coverage, well done. Please share widely. Thank you, number 6. The 12. I didn't actually film the 12-year-old girl, Jasmine, because I thought there's going to be some bloody bastard troll will probably report me to the police or something. But you know, she actually does appear on some other people's footage, so maybe I was just a little bit too cautious there. Honestly, she meant Jasmine. If I was her father, if you are Jasmine's father, you should be very, very proud of your daughter. You really should. A great coverage. Well done. Please share widely. Thanks, number 6. Not number 6. 12-year-old girl speaks eloquently and truthfully at the Oxford protest today. Thousands attend to push back the 15-minute cities and ultimate control of our freedom and liberties. They want to banish the motor car and confine and not allow us to travel independently. Oh, there's another Rumble video here. Right. I'll just check that out. Not number 6. Don't need the bloody. I'll check out this video. This is Dolinda Ruota. Oh, right. Let's have a look. I'll just show you it. This is Dolindo Ruoto. Whoops. Oh, that's Jasmine. I'll just click. Oh, it's got loads of likes. That's Jasmine. Oh, bless her. Yes, that's great. Thanks very much, Dolindo Ruoto. And Not number 6. I'm going to check out your channel with the name. Oh, no, I don't want to leave. Oh, shit, I was about to close StreamYard. I'll just check out your channel. Will it let me post that now? Yes, it will. Not number 6. No videos. Okay, no problem. That's a great username you got there. Anyway, that's the end of that. Now, Oxford Graffiti 3. No comments. Okay, that's Rumble done. So just one more. So I'll just check one more check at YouTube. And then we're finished. Okay, so now we're going to just where are we now? Let me just go to. I'm just going to check out. You check for. Some people might have posted comments while literally while I've been recording this. Some people do. Let's have a look. Going back 3 hours, 4 hours. What we have here. I'm not screen sharing, am I? No. Okay. Jam Noise 72. Hey, Jam Noise. She says, Ben, do a live reply. Pardon me. Do a live reply to comments. That would be interesting. Lol. Hey, sorry, wrong. I've got to just delete that. I've got to go back and get the delete. Okay. Let's go back and get the tag. Answered approximately within the 4th hour. Okay. You know, Jackie, that's actually a good idea. A live comments reply video. Yeah. Problem is, I'd have like I'd have to like go like looking over there, stuff like that. I'll be looking at the live chat and trying to answer comments. It'll be a bit tricky, but maybe it's not a bad idea. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gents. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has contributed to this comments reply video number 71, which is, of course, everyone who's left a comment. Thank you very much. They've been very interesting, fascinating, uplifting. Even some of the rude ones were quite amusing. So thank you for all of them. I'll be back very soon with another video. As you know, the Apollo Detectives is looming. And in the meantime, thank you, all of you. And I've got a couple other plans for other videos too. Thank you, all of you, for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.